kita naik satu level disebut kebaikan. Maka konsepnya adalah berlomba-lomba dalam kebaikan, bukan dalam kebenaran. Karena kebenaran kita bisa expired siang hari ini dan besok bertumbuh. Value puncak tertinggi dari manusia adalah bijaksana. Jadi mari kita mulai menaikkan level kita dari level benar salah kepada kebaikan, menuju kepada puncak. Output intinya adalah menjadi bijaksana. Karena ketika bijaksana, kita akan belajar melihat apa adanya. Netral, dan kita lebih fokus kepada pembelajarannya. Terima kasih.
Awalnya nggak tahu kalau itu kanker tulang. Divonisnya harus amputasi, baru tahu. Gasan, papa kan kakinya satu, Gasan kan kakinya dua, Gasan jalannya biasa. Papa juga punya kaki robot.
Maaf Kang Dani, Anda menganggap tetap ini sebagai sebuah kebaikan dari Allah?
Jangan sampai disia-siakan kesempatan itu. Saksikan kisah saya, Dr. Gigi Muhammad Nur Ramadhani, di Teman Bicara Maman.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
Handball karena masih baru, tadi kita harus bisa juga mempopulerkan ini kepada masyarakat sampai ke bawah.
We do it from scratch at the time because we don't know ice hockey, how to play, how to develop, how to manage this sport.
You don't have to be good with your foot.
You can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Good morning, Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and the world. Rise and shine, everyone. The weekend is here. It's a beautiful Saturday morning. No rain today, thank goodness. My name is Paul Palelli, greeting you, as always, from the See Today News Studios. And it feels like my first weekend of the year, but it's already the 20th of January, 2024. However, it's just past 6 a.m., so for the next 3 hours, like we always do, we've got all the latest news and updates and feature stories just for you over the next 3 hours, along with your weekend sports and entertainment roundup. A couple of discussions and perhaps a performance for you later on as well. We're going to discuss all of that in a minute, but first, let's say good morning to the weekend squad. We've got Shafira and Rasha with us this morning. Good morning, ladies.
Good
Happy
morning.
weekend.
Happy weekend. Paul, why you love to count down? I mean,
I don't know why. I'm a numbers guy. Do you notice that too? Me too. I noticed that myself.
Oh, because it makes our days become faster.
Correct.
Yeah. Right?
It is so fast. It's already the 20th of
Really?
January.
Yeah,
Yeah, 18 hours left in the day, by the way.
Yeah, oh my God.
Can we make it slow down, please? We want to ease the moment.
That's right.
Yeah.
Enjoy the ride.
Wak, 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 wak. All right, good morning, everyone. My name is Shafira, and in addition to what Paul just said, we'll also have a special talk show. We have two session for conversation and talk shows later on. Make sure you stay tuned for that. You can always connect with us on social media at Stay Today News on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube.
And hi, good morning, everyone. I'm your host, Sue Rashami. Would like to greet our viewers that are now able to tune in from Foxtel Flash Australia, Macau Cable TV Channel 84, Vision Philippines Channel 58, Air Cable Philippines and Singtel Singapore Channel 15, and StarHub Channel 720. All right, guys, let's start the show with our headlines.
A Russian oil depot was ablaze after a Ukrainian drone struck the site in western Russia on Friday.
Malaysia's King and Queen presented a news segment called Bulletin Diraja on TV3's primetime news bulletin utama.
And from the country Indonesia, Mount Merapi's eruption again left the Minangkabau International Airport in Padang Pariaman, West Sumatra, temporarily closed on Friday afternoon.
And the hopes are still alive for the Indonesian team for the knockout stage at the AFC Asian Cup after a 1-0 Group D win over Vietnam on Saturday in Doha. Such good news. By the way, we previewed that match yesterday. We were hoping, well, if we can come out with a tie, that would be great.
Do you think that we can make it?
We got to face Japan next. They're one of the best teams in the entire world.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know, fingers crossed. We'll see.
Fingers crossed, we
Anyway.
still have time. Then our prayers there.
I'm going to count down the days.
Oh my
by the way, till the match
God.
comes
No
out.
more numbers.
Anyway, we've got some feature stories to kick off today's program. The excursion team of Architecture Department of Indonesia University held an exhibition of vernacular architecture of a Karo ethnic group called Siwaluh Jabu.
The exhibition displayed the information on how Siwaluh Jabu shaped the customs and the norms of the Karo people that live in Dokan and Pangambatan village, Karo Regency, North Sumatra.
The Architecture Department excursion team of Indonesian University presents an exhibition showcasing the fascinating vernacular architecture of the Karo community named Siwaluh Jabu at Ismail Marzuki Park in central Jakarta. Walu denotes 8, while Jabu translates to family or space. As the name suggests, Siwaluh Jabu embodies a traditional house designed for communal living, housing up to 8 families under one roof. These exhibitions aim to unveil the intricate relationship between traditional architecture and cultural fabric, exploring how Siwaluh Jabu shapes customs and social norms within the Karo community. Thorough research by the excursion team in 2023 at Dokan and Pangambatan villages in Karo Regency, North Sumatra forms the backbone of the exhibitions.
So, this exhibition brings you closer to the house of Karo people. You can see the interior and the exterior of the house through the pictures displayed in this exhibition. But one thing that caught my attention is this. So this picture helps you imagine how Karo people built their house. So the first thing that they did was they went to the forest while bringing the offering. You can see this picture, this woman brought the offering and presented it to the spirit that they believed guarding the forest. They asked for the permission of the spirit, and after that, they cut up the tree, of course, but they didn't use the modern machine like chainsaw. Instead, they used their own strength. You can see this one. They pulled the tree together. Cool.
Visitors can not only exploring the living aspect of Siwaluh Jabu, but also discover the fascinating Keraton, a building where the Karo community respectfully stores the bones of their loved ones after burial. The excursion team's dedication extends beyond the exhibition, culminating in a book documenting their insightful journey. On January 30th, 2024, the team hosted a book review session led by expert guests, further enriching the cultural dialogue. Architect Imelda Akmal commented on how Siwalu Jabu's communal living model offers a potential solution to contemporary crises, particularly energy and climate concerns.
Apa yang mereka lakukan dan kehidupan sehari-hari mereka justru itu hal yang menjawab krisis yang terjadi pada saat ini. Krisis energi, krisis iklim, mereka menggunakan begitu sangat sedikit energi. Mereka begitu sedikit mengusik alam sehingga sebetulnya tidak mengganggu iklim. Mereka begitu sederhananya hidupnya sebetulnya minimalis yang kita capek-capek sekarang ini belajar dari barat, dari Jepang bagaimana cara hidup minimalis yang sudah dilakukan atau bahkan sampai saat ini dilakukan oleh saudara kita sendiri di tanah air di pelosok-pelosok.
Don't miss this cultural experience. The exhibition runs from January 8 to 21st, 2024 at Ismail Marzuki Park, offering free entry to all. Akasa Fiandri, Nico Arianto for See Today.
All right, so for those of you that are curious about Cairo and how the people there living and their culture as well, you can visit the exhibition until 31st of January. Now, in our next story, Gulungyu Island in Xiamen City, Fujian Province, China, is a living museum of a global architecture. Around 1,000 historical buildings adorn the island, each echoing a distinct architectural style. Let's take a look.
Gulangyu Island, off the coast of Xiamen City in Fujian Province, China, is a living museum of global architecture. The island boasts around 1,000 historical buildings, showcasing diverse architectural styles from traditional Chinese to modern European. In addition to being a popular tourist destination in Xiamen, the 1.8 square kilometer island is also home to around 10,000 people. In 1902, 13 countries including Britain, the Netherlands, Russia, France, Japan, and the United States built consulates general buildings on Gulangyu Island. Although these buildings are no longer in use, they remain standing and impressive. As a result, in 2017, Gulangyu Island was finally designated as a World Heritage Site by UNESCO.
Di sini biasanya banyak orang yang tinggal juga, masih ada kehidupan. Dan bisa lihat rumah-rumah itu semuanya ditinggali oleh penduduk Pulau. Pulau ini udah dinobatkan UNESCO. Pariwisata terbaik di China. Biasanya kita bisa foto-foto, bisa di gereja, dua gereja ini, di pusat ini juga ikon dari Kulangi.
In addition to seeing buildings with ancient architecture, visitors can also enjoy traditional Chinese puppet shows, which are also known as Wayang Potehi in Indonesia. See Today contributor reporting from Xiamen, Fujian, China.
So you guys know I recently took a road trip.
Yes.
So
How did
we are in West Java.
Okay.
I literally drove from West Java to East Java, and traveling through that, there is this entire chunk of Central Java that is just so beautiful. I wish I had more time to stop in
Semarang, is
places. I ended up stopping in Semarang because that's my regular stop in Semarang. But there's so many other places. For example, if you happen to be in Karanganyar in Central Java, there is actually a very cool tourist spot that you may want to check out. It is called the Kemuning Sky Hills, and it is situated around the Kemuning Tea Garden in Sumbersari Subdistrict.
This spot offers a stunning view of the tea garden and Mount Lawu from a sky bridge made of glass. Let's take a look.
Welcome to Kemuning, a picturesque area in Karanganyar Regency, Central Java, known for its breathtaking tea gardens and the beauty of Mount Lawu that captivates the heart of local tourists. One must-visit spot in this enchanting locale is the Kemuning Sky Hills, situated along Jalan Karangpandan, Ngargoyoso in the Sumbersari Subdistrict. This unique destination promises a one-of-a-kind experience, allowing you to soak in the beauty of the surrounding nature through Central Java's longest glass bridge. The Sky Bridge spans an impressive 65 meters in length and stands 60 meters high, perched atop the tea garden. Even though the Sky Bridge is still under construction, visitors are welcome to explore and take in the panoramic views of the Kemuning Sky Hills.
Ini sangat bagus banget. Satu-satunya di sini baru ada ini kaca. Yang pertama takut, tapi lama-lama enggak. Bakal di sini pertama, karena ini istimewa banget.
Wah, bagus sekali, keren Mbak ini. Tapi sayangnya belum selesai, baru separuh ini ya. Kesini dulu pertama bulan Desember masih belum jadi. Nah ini coba lagi kesini.
However, visitors have to take off their footwear for safety when stepping on the glass. The staff allows only 50 people at a time and taking turns with other visitors. To enjoy the breathtaking view of Kemuning Sky Hills, visitors need to purchase an entrance ticket for 10,000 rupiah per person. Additionally, there is an extra charge of 30,000 rupiah per person to access the Sky Bridge. For a convenient option, the tour site manager offers a pass that includes admission and bridge access, costing only 40,000 rupiah per person. See Today contributor reporting from Karanganyar, Central Java.
Ooh, that's like a bit daring.
Okay. Let's put our cards on the table. You guys willing to do it? Walk all the way to...
If there's no many people, probably I will.
Oh, okay. So you're a numbers person too. You're calculating the weight.
50 people on that bridge. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna. Yeah, I feel
It's scary. For me, as long as I have the safety...
A harness.
A harness,
Good idea.
yes, I would
Okay.
do that. But without that,
No?
thank you. What about
Yeah,
you?
no, well, I'm scared of open heights. It's weird. Have you ever heard of this?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm okay, like, say, in airplanes and
Yeah.
stuff or in buildings.
Yeah.
But if I'm on an open rooftop and I'm on a balcony,
Yeah.
I get this, I suddenly climb out.
It's open and
Open
it's
height.
transparent.
Yeah.
So how do you deal when you have to DJ in a rooftop?
I don't look down.
That's a good
Focus on
idea.
my music.
Yeah.
That's exactly it.
Oh, right.
I had to do it a couple of times, by the way.
I
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
right?
Tricky.
But for those of you who are courageous enough to go, you know, not afraid of the height and willing to test your adrenaline, that could be one of the spots that you would want to visit in Central Java. And now from Central Java, we're going to go to north of Sydney, Australia, where a boat delivers posts to hundreds of residents scattered along a river.
The riverboat postman is the very last service of its kind in the country, but the business itself is still very much booming. Let's have a look.
Just 70 kilometers north of the busy center of Sydney, the Hawkesbury River offers a quieter and calmer environment. And most residents on shore don't have road access to their properties.
The majority of the land around here is either National Park or Nature Reserve. It's a great place to live.
Meet Justin Pingai. Along with his wife and his brother, he runs the local postal delivery service.
Deliver anything from a postcard to a box of wine and everything in between, up to about 450 articles of mail each day, which is about normal.
This is the only service like this left in Australia. Mail is delivered all year round, up and down the river, every weekday. Locals swear by the service, and they also enjoy the free rides.
We still get our deliveries. It does take a couple of days longer, but nothing crazy for, you know, living.
The riverboat postman has a slight tax on they say on there, if you order a dozen bottles of wine, then they take one bottle for tax purposes.
The mail delivery service on the Hawkesbury River started in 1910. The Bean Guys took it over in 2012. It's also now become an attraction for tourists who can go out on the river during the mail runs. It's Beth Rayner's job to keep the tourists and locals happy while they're on board. The most popular parcels seem to contain liquors or guitars. Then, there's also the gossips that keep people entertained.
There's always some scandal going along. And look, let's just face it, everyone loves a bit of scandal as long as they're not a part of it.
And I think it's an untapped gold mine. And that's how we want it to stay.
All right, guys, we're up for our first short break, but we'll have news from around Indonesia when we come back, only on the C Morning Show. We'll be right back.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia keluar di itu bergelombol, menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
Oh, I love this atmosphere. Woo! Heading to Gili Trawangan. And this special episode, I already prepared myself for an adventure on the island, which in the top of the list to visit. And this is the travel note because life is dope.
Bahkan brosurnya aja Pak, saya udah pelan-pelanin jalan. Ditegur, Mas cepetan gitu. Ini bisa baca perilaku kamu. Sekalian itu mau baca tarot nggak? Iya.
Oh iya, Sa.
Sama mana tangan kamu?
Keren banget. Mau, Om.
Awalnya nggak tahu kalau itu kanker tulang. Divonisnya harus amputasi, baru tahu. Gasan, papa kan kakinya 1, Gasan kan kakinya 2, Gasan jalannya biasa. Papa juga punya kaki robot.
Maaf Kang Dani, Anda menganggap tetap ini sebagai sebuah kebaikan dari Allah?
Jangan sampai disia-siakan kesempatan itu. Saksikan kisah saya, Dr. Gigi Muhammad Nur Ramadhani, di Teman Bicara Maman.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
Handball karena masih baru, tadi kita harus bisa juga mempopulerkan ini kepada masyarakat sampai ke bawah.
We do it from scratch at the time because we don't know ice hockey, how to play, how to develop, how to manage this sport.
You don't have to be good with your foot. You can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Asian flavors is gaining more popularity around the world in the last decade. Personally love this, not just because it is familiar for our palate, but because the airiness, the textures of the youtiao, it's completely different than baguette. So with those appetite and with those pleasure-driven people, Menteng is a very special place for restaurant.
A group of volunteers operating in the south of the city has united to assist displaced children in a refugee camp in Rafah in overcoming the trauma of war. The volunteers come from diverse professional backgrounds and share expertise in working with young people.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the C Morning Show. As mentioned by Rasha prior to the break, we've got more news out of Indonesia. The Minangkabau International Airport in Padang Pariaman, West Sumatra, was temporarily closed again on Friday afternoon, causing as many as 17 flights to be canceled.
The decision was taken by the airport authority due to the widespread of volcanic ash from the eruption of Mount Marapi, which affects the airport area.
Officers at the Minangkabau International Airport were seen covering the engines of the aircraft parked on the tarmac for protection from Mount Marapi's volcanic ash.
Meanwhile, passengers were queuing at the ticket counters to reschedule their flights. As many as 17 flights were affected by the airport closure, including 2,218 arrival and departure passengers.
Tiba-tiba dari rapid testnya ditemukan abu vulkaniknya sudah positif dan terlihat cukup banyak yang hari ini. Jadi kalau kemungkinan ini diakibatkan erupsi yang terjadi pada pukul 10.14 pagi tadi. Jadi dalam perjalanan juga butuh sekian jam sehingga kurang lebih 5 jam kemudian sampai ke 4 jam 5 jam kemudian sampai ke Bandara Bima.
In other news, dengue fever cases soared in a number of regions, including in Kendari, Southeast Sulawesi, where hundreds of residents were infected while 2 died.
Meanwhile, in Pandeglang, Banten, there were 85 dengue fever cases recorded in mid-January alone. The local government has also begun to fog residential areas.
Dengue fever cases in Kendari, Southeast Sulawesi continue to significantly increase. The Southeast Sulawesi Regional Health Office recorded that until January 18, 2024, there were 396 residents suffering from dengue fever and 2 of them died. The Southeast Sulawesi Provincial Government Hospital has treated 64 patients, mostly children, while 39 of them are still undergoing inpatient treatment.
Kalau kita melihat pergerakan dan dinamika penyakit DBD ini meningkat dari waktu ke waktu, Desember, kemudian juga sampai sekarang awal Januari sudah tercatat 396 seluruh kabupaten kota. Jadi 17 kabupaten kota. Jadi seluruh provinsi itu 396. Kemudian yang sembuh 279. Kendari peringkat pertama 60%, 260 ada di sini. Pada kesempatan ini saya selaku PJ Gubernur pertama prihatin dengan kondisi ini, kemudian mendoakan semoga saudara-saudara kita, anak-anak kita segera sembuh.
Meanwhile, in an effort to eradicate the spread of dengue fever in Pandeglang Regency Office intensively conduct fogging activities in residential areas. This is taken as a quick response to the increasing cases of the dengue fever in the Regency. From early to mid-January, there have been 85 recorded cases. Back in 2023, more than 500 people were affected by dengue fever, with 3 casualties. See Today contributor reporting from Southeast Sulawesi and Banten.
Indonesian President Joko Widodo inaugurated the start of the construction of Nusantara Warehouse Park in Nusantara, East Kalimantan. The construction of this warehouse will support the development of Indonesia's new capital city.
PT Wulandari Bangun Laksana is the first local investor in the new capital city, Nusantara. The groundbreaking event showcases that investments in Nusantara are becoming more varied, whether in physical objects or the origin of the investors.
The company is building Nusantara Warehouse Park in a 3.3-hectare area. The implementation of state-of-the-art digital aspects becomes a vital point in the development of Nusantara. The smart, sustainable, and green warehouse is in line with Nusantara's concept.
President Joko Widodo said that the warehousing industry, such as Nusantara Warehouse Park, will complement development activities in the new capital city. This will be parallel with the opening of new jobs and economic growth around the Nusantara area.
Mohon izin untuk menghitung mundur dari hitungan ke 3, 2, 1.
Pergudangan ini akan memanfaatkan teknologi modern untuk meningkatkan efisiensi, menerapkan sistem pintar di seluruh layanan, dan memberikan pelayanan logistik yang lebih cepat, lebih efisien, dan ramah lingkungan. Bapak Ibu sekalian yang saya hormati, kehadiran usaha-usaha baru di IKN ini pasti akan membuka kesempatan kerja baru, memicu pertumbuhan ekonomi di IKN dan kota-kota lainnya di sekitar IKN, utamanya di Provinsi Kalimantan Timur.
All right, and now let's have a look at the updates regarding the upcoming Indonesian general elections on Indonesia Votes 2024.
And first up, during his campaign in Batam, Riau, Anies Baswedan emphasized his commitment to deal with current problems within the city.
He stressed on the matters of employment and ease of living costs. On Friday, presidential candidate Baswedan was swarmed with supporters in Batam City in his campaign agenda.
In his last resort agenda at the MTZ Sport Arena, which was filled with his supporters, Baswedan delivered his campaign points in front of those who came to the campaign. They were not only from Batam, but also from regions in the province.
He added that he is committed to ease living expenses, costs, and expand job opportunities. He went on to mention his concerns on land and illegal immigrants in the Batam area.
Perubahan yang kita gagas adalah untuk mengembalikan agar negara kita disiplin dalam menegakkan hukum, dalam menegakkan aturan. Lalu perlu kami garis bawahi juga di dalam acara tadi itu begitu banyak relawan-relawan yang hadir. Kami pesankan bahwa semua yang datang 1 bulan ke depan untuk mengajak tetangga, saudara, dan siapa saja yang ditemui untuk ikut mencoblos pada 14 Februari.
And moving on to another presidential candidate, dozens of online transportation driver or ojols showed their support for Prabowo Subianto at Lapangan Banteng, Jakarta on Friday.
These online transportation drivers were part of a community from different parts of Jakarta and were under the care of Erick Thohir. They showed similar support as Erick Thohir for Prabowo Gibran during the 2024 presidential elections.
The occasion also the drivers delivering their aspirations to the pair should they be elected into office. The drivers are keen to have proper public facilities where they could rest and park while waiting for orders.
Kami bertekad untuk menjaga kekayaan Indonesia dan mengelola kekayaan Indonesia supaya bisa dinikmati oleh seluruh rakyat Indonesia. Untuk itu, saya berjanji akan berbuat yang terbaik untuk kesejahteraan saudara-saudara sekalian.
Meanwhile, presidential candidate Ganjar Pranowo said that he, along with his running mate Mahfud MD, were ready to face the second vice presidential candidate debate.
Ganjar Pranowo said that he will bring the lack of fertilizer issues on the table based on inputs he gathered from his campaign trail. This includes his visit to Madiun City and Ngawi Regency, East Java on January the 18th.
He said that the invisible ID card or KTP Sakti will help the government collect data needed from the farmers to determine solutions to the lack of fertilizer.
Di seluruh tempat di Indonesia yang kita kunjungi, pupuk menjadi persoalan serius. Ya, satu kurang dan tadi ada satu petani yang sangat bagus sekali menyampaikan dari sekian komoditas sekarang hanya sedikit yang diberikan subsidi. Dan ternyata dari sedikit yang diberikan subsidi itu pun kurang. Nah, kenapa saya dorong? Ini KTP Sakti ini akan bisa menjadi basis data pertama untuk bisa mengurai itu gitu. Nah, kalau sudah ketemu apa yang dilakukan? Ya kamu tambahin pupuk bersubsidi boleh. Pupuknya nanti diperoleh dari impor silahkan, tapi kalau mau mandiri ya buat pabrik pupuk baru.
The General Elections Commission or KPU has announced the format, a theme, as well as the panelists and moderator of the fourth debate 2 days prior to the event.
The KPU will hold the fourth debate on January 21st at the Jakarta Convention Center. The fourth debate will feature the 3 vice presidential candidates, namely Muhaimin Iskandar, Gibran Rakabuming Raka, and Mahfud MD.
The theme of the debate will be divided into subgroups, namely sustainable development, natural resources, environment, energy, food, agrarian affairs, indigenous peoples, and villages. There will be 11 panelists for the fourth debate, including professors and experts in the field. The debate itself will be moderated by Retno Pinasti and Zilvia Iskandar.
The format and rundown of the fourth debate will remain the same as the first three. The debate will feature 6 segments that last a total of 150 minutes and include 30 minutes of commercial break. The first segment will see each candidate elaborate their vision and mission, starting with candidate number 1.
The debate will be based on evaluations by related parties, including the candidate teams and media broadcaster.
Kalau sampai saat ini posisinya untuk persiapan di GCC sejak tanggal 18 kemarin, 18 malam, itu sudah posisi loading. Hari ini sudah persiapan-persiapan terkait dengan panggung, layout, desain, segala macam. Besok akan dilakukan rencananya hari Sabtu, itu gladi kotor, kemudian hari Minggu akan dilaksanakan rehearsal atau gladi resik, dan itu akan melibatkan antara tim KPU, media penyelenggara, juga tim paslon.
And still related to the presidential election, hundreds were keen to assist in folding ballots at the Depok General Election Commission warehouse in Cibinong, Bogor, West Java.
And some of those eager for additional income were said to have come from outside of the area. Those folding the ballots would receive 500 rupees for each ballot from the Elections Commission.
These so-called ballot folders would be divided into groups of 10. They would work from morning until late afternoon, and one group would fold as many as 6,000 ballots. Each folder is said able to receive as much as 250 to 300,000 rupiah.
The Depok General Elections Commission would employ as many as 300 people to fold the ballots for this year's elections. A total of more than 1.4 million ballots folded are those with candidates vying for a seat at the Regional Representatives Council.
So 250,000 rupiah, do you know how many ballots that is here?
Thank you so much, Paul, for the mathematics.
That's 500,000 ballots. 250,000, 500 per ballot.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Easy math.
You're guessing too, right?
I'm also not a math girl,
into numbers.
so
Well, I'm just that's amazing.
that we have
half a
a math
million
person
ballots. Can you imagine folding?
500,000 ballots?
Well, that would
But,
be how much it is, right? To get 250.
Yeah, but also it's actually good for the people that are able to get a job out of it.
Absolutely.
It also
Agreed.
trigger economy, right? So
Yeah.
one of the positive aspects of the election.
Of course.
Fast
yes.
hands.
There's a lot of things. Exactly. So you have to, you have
Practice.
to train the grips, so you're not feeling
hand.
proud because so many
I did
papers.
an animal flow on the weekend
Yeah.
on See Today's studio, where like the instructor actually teach us some of the very simple moves that we can do during our our work.
Okay.
So one of them is like this. For those of who are feeling the pressure of like
Folding ballots.
holding ballots, this is
Probably you
the
can
one
do
exercise
it.
that you can do. Yeah.
Very relaxing, by the way.
Very relaxing. Oh,
I know.
nice. Good tips. Thank you so much, Rasha. All right, after a quick break, we'll have Paul set to bring you some sports updates. What do you have for us today, Paul?
Well, I have great news, obviously, for the Indonesia squad who have eked out a 1-0 win. We have the latest updates from the AFC Asian Cup. We also have some basketball news from the NBA. All that and more when we return here on the C Morning Show. Stay tuned. I've got your morning sports update up next.
The beauty and the excitement of being there, indescribable to lose such an iconic, historical, and magnificent.
Let's take a look around, shall we?
Come on in.
We found them.
Where people come and go. A cup of tea, a perfect way to end your day. Come see the beauty only on See Indonesia.
Bahkan brosurnya aja Pak, saya udah pelan-pelanin jalan. Ditegur, Mas cepetan gitu. Ini bisa baca perilaku kamu sekalian. Kita mau baca tarot nggak? Iya.
Oh iya, Sa.
Mana tangan kamu?
Keren banget. Mau, Om.
Hey there, buddies! Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak, dia hostnya, kita co-host.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick.
Point to Manado on the smack. I'm horrible. I told you I'm bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu kan jadi makin gampang gitu nulis.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget.
Ini lebih ke klasik modern sih Mas ya, dibandingkan yang regular Z900 nakednya.
Alright guys, let's get into our first update for today.
Meanwhile, a plume of smoke was seen billowing in the distance from Rafah in the Gaza Strip on Saturday, marking the 11th week of humanitarian crisis in Palestine.
Mount Anak Krakatau continues to erupt, spewing volcanic materials up to 300 meters high.
Sri Mulyani Indrawati said that Indonesia has minimized taking that to meet the needs of the 2023 state budget until the end of the year.
Berangkat aja dulu, kerjakan apa yang ada di depan kalian. Setidaknya kalian hari ini walaupun tidak mendapatkan uang, tapi kalian mendapatkan kesempatan.
Walaupun di awal-awal itu banyak sekali rintangan dan tantangan.
Kalian berproses aja dulu, jalan aja dulu. Kalau udah waktunya kalian untuk dapetin uang akan datang nyamperin kalian. Hal yang paling sangat utama untuk mengawali bisnis, ridho dan restu orang tua. Itu hal dan modal paling besar dalam mengawali usaha.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the program. Halfway through the first hour of our program, and it's time for your sports update. And we're going to begin in the AFC Asian Cup in Qatar, where Indonesia are back in the hunt for a spot in the knockout stage after a 1-0 Group D win against Vietnam on Saturday in Doha. Asnawi Mangkualam converted a penalty just before the halftime break for the lone goal, while Hernando Ari Sutaryadi denied Vietnam with several key saves. Vietnam finished the match with 10 players after Win Tan Bin was sent off for his second yellow card during the first minute of added time. This win now lifts Indonesia to third place in Group D, level on points with Japan, ahead of their final crucial group clash with the Samurai Blue, which will take place on Wednesday. Now, even more shocking was how the Samurai Blue is now tied for third place to begin with. Well, how did it happen? Ayman Hussein scored twice as Iraq stunned Japan 2-1 to book their spot in the knockout stage of the AFC Asian Cup on Friday, also in Doha, Qatar. Hussein scored his brace with headers in the first half before Wataru Endo cut the deficit in the second half stoppage time. Iraq are now through to the knockout stage regardless of the outcome of their final Group D match with Vietnam after securing 2 victories. Japan were denied an opportunity 10 minutes into the second half when Iraq's Rebin Garib took down Takuma Asano with a challenge in the 6-yard box. The VAR penalty review by referee Khaled Al-Turais concluded that no penalty would be awarded. This loss surely brought back some painful memories of the agony of Doha back in 1994 when Iraq scored a heartbreaking 91st minute equalizer to snatch a 2-2 tie with Vietnam in a deciding World Cup qualifier in the Qatari capital. That result also denied Japan a spot at the 1994 World Cup in the United States and forced the Samurai Blue to wait another 4 years to qualify for its first finals in France. Very shocking indeed as we analyzed how Japan is possibly one of the top 5 nations in the world of football, and they're very much in form right now. So we mentioned that Indonesia will be meeting Japan for a crucial group match, but Indonesia got there by defeating Vietnam 1-0 in their second Group D match at the AFC Asian Cup on Friday night. Now, despite this victory, the Indonesian Football Association, or PSSI chairman Erick Thohir, urged players to focus on the upcoming do-or-die match against Japan on Wednesday next week in order for them to advance to the round of 16. PSSI chair Erick Thohir urged the players to take better control of the ball and perform fearlessly to cut off Japan's attacks. Thohir also hopes that Marcelino Ferdinand can maintain his top performance as the engine of the Garuda squad's attack in order for them to qualify for the round of 16.
Harus optimis dong, targetnya 16 besar. Ada Sananta, ada Hoki, ada Dimas, saya rasa banyak pemain yang udah disiapkan ya, tinggal bagaimana para penyerang kita ya mesti berani adu badan, berani tembak, dan juga berani melihat peluang kalau ada temannya kosong. Semuanya ini harus berani adu badan gitu, jangan sedikit-sedikit jatuh, sedikit-sedikit jatuh.
Inspiring victory indeed. Let's see if the Indonesian team can keep the momentum rolling against the Samurai Blue. In the meantime, Indonesia's under-20 squad are intensifying sessions in the third week of their training ahead of the upcoming friendlies against Thailand and Uzbekistan in late January. Head coach Indra Shafri continues to monitor each player's development before finalizing their roster. The under-20 team held high-intensity training, including 3 daily sessions. On Friday afternoon, the young Garuda squad held a scrimmage before focusing on tactics for next week. Indonesia will be playing friendlies against a number of international teams to evaluate the team's progress. Indonesia will face Thailand on January the 26th and Uzbekistan 4 days later in Jakarta. Head coach Indra Shafri said that the matches will be useful to assess his team's development. The coaching staff also continues to select the right players for the squad.
Mau melihat kemampuan dari setiap individu mereka. Terus yang kedua, melihat sejauh mana si tim ini perkembangan dari tahap awal yang kita CC di Qatar. Ini pemain-pemain usia muda, mereka masih labil, kadang-kadang bagus, kadang-kadang turun. Ini yang kita lihat terus, ya sampai nanti ke Juli di AFF kita lihat di situ performa tim kita.
All right, from football, let's move over to some basketball news now from the NBA, where Benedict Mathurin scored 25 points as the short-handed Indiana Pacers held off the Sacramento Kings 126-121 on Thursday night. Indiana was without newly acquired forward Pascal Siakam, who has yet to join the team following a trade with the Toronto Raptors, while fellow All-Star Tyrese Halliburton has now missed his 5th straight game due to a strained left hamstring. TJ McConnell had 20 points and 10 assists to help Indiana win for the 10th time in 13 games. Miles Turner added 18 points, and Jalen Smith had 17 points along with 13 rebounds. Meanwhile, Kevin Huerter had a career-high 31 points for Sacramento, making 7 of 12 three-pointers, while Domantas Sabonis had 21 points and 11 rebounds, along with 10 assists to mark his 12th triple-double of the season. However, the Kings have now lost their 4th game in a row. So both teams were on a mini losing streak heading into this one, and both were hoping to get back on track. After 3 consecutive losses, the Sacramento Kings went in a vital game against the Pacers, and while it would normally be a highly anticipated matchup, with the former King Tyrese Halliburton returning to Sacramento, the All-Star point guard was sidelined along with newly acquired Pascal Siakam, paving the way for an easier matchup for the Kings. Now, despite a large deficit with minimal time remaining, the Kings clawed back once again to make it a 3-point game with 30 seconds remaining, and once again, a comeback fell short for them this season. The Kings showed some fight toward the end, but it was too little, too late. The only Kings that did not struggle was, as mentioned, Domantas Sabonis had a great game, Kevin Huerter, and Keegan Murray as well. Sabonis dominated against his former team to notch his 12th triple-double of the season, tied for first in the NBA, by the way. And despite his struggles this season, Huerter finally had his breakout game with a career-high 31 points. The sharpshooter is now averaging 22.3 points over the past 3 games alone, as it seems that he has now broken out of his dreadful cold shooting streak. However, the second unit rotation in Sacramento continues to be a nightmare, with the bench scoring a combined 16 points, 9 from Malik Monk and 7 from Sasha Vezenkov. Now, while there is an obvious outlier in the starting lineup with Harrison Barnes, the lack of consistent depth could be the downfall for this Kings squad. The Kings, as mentioned, are on a 4-game losing streak as the trade deadline approaches, and many fans are now wondering what moves Monte McNair and the Kings front office have in store to fix the current disaster situation in Sacramento. Let's move on now to other NBA-related news, as Jalen Brunson had 41 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists to lead his New York Knicks to a 113-109 victory over the poorer Washington Wizards on Thursday night.
Randall this time catches it. Would have been a basket anyway.
New York Knicks beat Washington Wizards 113-109 on Thursday night. Brunson had 41 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists. Brunson finished 14 from 27 from the field and scored at least 30 from the second straight night after missing 2 games because of a bruised left calf.
Stroud has fallen silent with what's going on here.
Julius Randle added 21 points for the Knicks, while Dante DiVincenzo and OG Anunoby each had 19. Knicks improved to 8-2 since Anunoby joined the lineup on January 1st after being acquired from Toronto.
So Knicks lead cut to 2.
Jordan Poole scored 24 points for the Wizards, while Marvin Bagley had 20 points and 11 rebounds in his first starts for the Wizards. Denny Avdia and Kyle Kuzma each scored 15 points.
From Dante DiVincenzo, Brunson inside, layup, count it, and 1. Chance for 3. All off the magnificent defensive play. And the mice.
With center Daniel Gafford out with a concussion, Bagley moved right into the lineup in his first appearance for the Wizards since last week's trade, in which Washington also acquired Isaiah Livers and a couple of future second-round picks for Danilo Gallinari and Mike Muscala.
Brunson back out, Randall three-pointer, puts it in, Julius Randle with 58.
So this victory now marks a sweep in a 3-game series against the Wizards for the Knicks, a feat made possible due to the standout performance, obviously, by Jalen Brunson, who had himself 41 big points. Now, amid the cheers from the near-capacity crowd of almost 20,000 spectators, Brunson's performance really stood out. His 41 points not only boosted New York's tally, but also underscored his pivotal role on the team. Other key contributors for the Knicks included OG Anunoby, newly acquired from the Raptors, who scored 19 points, Julius Randle, who added 21 points, and Dante DiVincenzo, who matched Anunoby's 19 as well. And despite a sluggish start, the team rallied in the final quarter with a 40-point effort to secure the win. And on the other side, the Washington Wizards, despite the loss, did showcase some strong performances. Key players included Avdia and Kyle Kuzma, each scoring 15 points. Marvin Bagley III with a significant contribution of 20, and Jordan Poole, who led his team with 24. Kispert, Shamet, and Wright also added to Washington's final tally with 10, 13, and 5, respectively. Now, the match was a close affair in terms of statistics as well. New York had a total rebound count of 47 compared to Washington's 45. Washington attempted a total of 42 three-pointers, while Shamet and Kispert being particularly effective from beyond the arc. New York, on the other hand, attempted 38 three-pointers, and DiVincenzo and Anunoby being the most successful. The game was marked by some intense competition, with Washington's Avdija fouling out, but no players from New York reached the foul limit. But despite this loss, the Wizards demonstrated their mettle, proving that they are a force to be reckoned with at times. The Knicks, on the other hand, have already proved their dominance, with this victory serving as a testament to their grit and determination. And as the season progresses, both teams are showing a bit of promise, setting the stage for an exciting, perhaps, rivalry in the East Coast in the future. Who knows? Anyway, we're going to take a short break here as that rounds up our sports segment for now. We will have more sports news for you later on before the end of our program. But when we return from our short break, Shafira and Rasha will be back to share with you our daily batch of entertainment news. Stay tuned.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia keluar itu bergelombol, menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
I love this atmosphere. Woo! Heading to Gili Trawangan. And this special episode, I already prepared myself for an adventure on the island, which in the top of the list to visit. And this is the travel note because life is dope.
Kalau itu kanker tulang, divonisnya harus amputasi, baru tahu. Gasan, papa kan kakinya satu, Gasan kan kakinya dua, Gasan jalannya biasa. Papa juga punya kaki robot.
Maaf Kang Dani, Anda menganggap tetap ini sebagai sebuah kebaikan dari Allah?
Jangan sampai disia-siakan kesempatan itu. Saksikan kisah saya, Dr. Gigi Muhammad Nur Ramadhani, di Teman Bicara Maman.
The beauty and the excitement of being there.
Indescribable to lose such an iconic, historical, and magnificent.
Let's take a look around, shall we? Come on in. We found them.
Where people come and go.
A cup of tea, a perfect way to end your day. Come see the beauty, only on Si Indonesia.
Fisik saya mungkin waktu itu memang lemah, tapi bagi saya fisik itu hanya seberapa persen dari kemampuan kita. Yang penting adalah ide. Di anak-anak muda jangan pernah putus asa.
Ke Binjai mau migrasi.
Cakep.
Anjay, aku deportasi.
Ya aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh.
Aduh ya Allah.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mas.
Pemain.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the C Morning Show, and after some sports updates, now it's time for some entertainment updates. Dior's menswear maestro Kim Jones transformed a sunny afternoon in Paris into a starlit evening of balletic grandeur at Paris Fashion Week in a display of fashion theatrics.
Former supermodel Kate Moss, a South Korean boy band Tomorrow X Together, and recording artist Rita Ora were among the stars in attendance at the fashion show.
Classical ballet served as the muse for Kim Jones' latest FW 2024 Dior Home collection, unveiled Friday afternoon in a distinctive circular setting in front of Paris École Militaire. Dedicated to his uncle Colin Jones, a former dancer in the Royal Ballet turned professional photographer, the show paid homage to a moment in 1966 when Colin shadowed Rudolf Nureyev, capturing the Russian ballerina's essence for time life. Among the luminaries in attendance, Kate Moss, Pharrell Williams, Nicholas Hoult, Kerry Wong, Rita Ora, Lewis Hamilton, and Yoon Jun also sitting front row. Jones seamlessly blended Dior's contemporary tailoring with the sensuality and drama synonymous with ballet stars. The collection, a mix of masculine and androgynous, featured in meticulously crafted pieces with embroidered cape demanding an impressive 2,000 hours of handiwork. Nureyev's influence was evident in impeccably tailored wall suits, snug v-neck sweaters and turtlenecks, along with transparent tunics, white tights, and soft slippers. Jones playfully interpreted the dancer's iconic jumpsuit, with a wall version featuring a torso-length zipper. The runway showcased classic tailored jackets and matching shorts in neutral hues paired with calf-high socks in vibrant fuchsia, turquoise, or yellow, alongside round-toed paddle slippers. Luxury met extravagance with a cream-colored v-neck kaftan crafted from crocodile, while sequin embroidery adorned many looks. The show also includes theatrical capes, like the voluminous silver one with bands of copper and gold. Accessories range from velvet turbans and satin hairband satin fanny pack, revitalizing the often dismissed accessory back into style. As the final unfolded, models took their places on the circular catwalk, which began to rotate in two different directions. A fittingly choreographed conclusion to a truly spectacular show.
Let's move on. In a surprising turn of his illustrious career, Johnny Depp has taken a seat in the director's chair after 25 years, helming the biopic Modi film centered around the life of painter Amedeo Modigliani.
The star-studded cast includes legends like Al Pacino, Sally Phillips, Stephen Graham, Ricardo Scamarcio, and Antonia Desplat. Let's take a look.
As the project wraps up production, the Pirates of the Caribbean actor expressed his sentiments on the transformative journey, describing it as incredibly fulfilling. Depp extended his profound gratitude to the dedicated cast, crew, and producers who contributed to the film's creation.
Depp shared in a statement, embarking on the cinematic journey as the director of Modi has been an incredibly fulfilling and transformative experience. Modi unfolds against the backdrop of war-torn Paris in 1916, chronicling 48 hours in the turbulent life of Modigliani. Scenes were predominantly shot in Budapest, with Al Pacino recently wrapping up his segments in the United States.
The film delves into Modigliani's desire to leave Paris and his career, navigating through the chaos of police pursuit. Encounters with fellow bohemians, including Maurice Autreloux, James Sautin, and lover Beatrice Hastings, shape the narrative. Modi seeks guidance from his art dealer friend Leopold Zborowski, leading to a crescendo when faced with a collector who could alter his destiny.
As Modi nears completion, Johnny Depp eagerly anticipates presenting this unique and compelling story to audiences worldwide, marking a significant chapter in his multifaceted career. in another news, in a rare disclosure, Britain's royal family has made dual health announcements, shedding light on the personal well-being of two prominent members, Kate, the Princess of Wales, and King Charles.
Shortly following Kate's announcement, Buckingham Palace shared that King Charles III is scheduled for a corrective procedure to address an enlarged prostate next week.
Royal officials revealed that Kate underwent a planned abdominal surgery, necessitating a 10 to 14 day stay at a private London clinic. Her return to public duties is anticipated in April. While details on surgery were limited, the Princess' office at Kensington Palace assured the public that her condition wasn't serious. Despite generally robust health, Kate had previously been hospitalized during early pregnancy due to severe morning sickness. Shortly following Kate's announcement, Buckingham Palace shared that King Charles III is scheduled for a corrective procedures to address an enlarged prostate next week. The palace assured that the king's condition is benign, while Queen Camilla reassured the public on Thursday, stating that Charles is fine and looking forward to getting back to work. Disclosing health details of royals is a delicate matter in Britain, as they are private individuals while simultaneously considered public figures. Charles is the head of state, and the 42-year-old Kate is destined to become queen when her husband Prince William ascends to the throne. The decisions to publicize these health matters is perceived as a deliberate move by Charles to raise awareness about prostate health and encourage men to prioritize check-ups.
The release of the news about both royals on the same day, this is essentially about news management. It was announced, first of all, that the Princess of Wales had undergone this surgery and that it was in relation to a serious health concern. And I think the Buckingham Palace, thinking about the King's health, given that there wasn't as serious, it wasn't as grave, they would be keen to get that news out there. If anything, it's a positive news story to complement a more complicated news story in the case of Catherine's health. And it also means that we haven't got this story rolling on about Catherine and concerns around what exactly she's been suffering from. Rather, we are instead talking about King Charles III and him wanting to set a good example to other men his age, because he's been so candid and open about the enlarged prostate that he's got.
One headline dubbed the release of Charles' health details the King's public health message that promotes public awareness to prostate health. There has been a surge of interest in prostate cancer UK's charity work thanks to royal announcements. An enlarged prostate is common in men over age 50, which the condition affects how one urinates and isn't usually a serious health threat. It's not a type of cancer and doesn't lead to an increased risk of developing prostate cancer.
All right, now that's a wrap for entertainment updates. For now, let's take a short break, and after the break, we'll still have updates from around the world, so stay tuned on the C Morning Show, only on C Today.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
Handball karena masih baru, tadi kita harus bisa juga mempopulerkan ini kepada masyarakat sampai ke bawah.
We do it from scratch at the time because we don't know ice hockey, how to play, how to develop, how to manage this sport.
You don't have to be good with your foot.
You can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Asian flavors is gaining more popularity around the world in the last decade. Personally love this, not just because it is familiar for our palate, but because the airiness, the textures of the youtiao, it's completely different when baguette. So with those appetites and with those pleasure-driven people, Menteng is a very special place for restaurant.
Oh, I love this atmosphere. Woo! Heading to Gili Trawangan. And this special episode, I already prepared myself for an adventure on the island, which in the top of the list to visit. And this is the travel note because life is dope.
Hey there, buddies! Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak, dia hostnya, kita co-hostnya.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick. Point to Manado on this map. I'm horrible. I told you I was bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu akan jadi makin gampang gitu nulis.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget.
Ini lebih ke klasik modern sih mas ya, dibandingkan yang regular Z900 nakednya.
All right, guys, let's get into our first update for today.
Meanwhile, a plume of smoke was seen billowing in the distance from Rafah in the Gaza Strip on Saturday, marking the 11th week of humanitarian crisis in Palestine.
Mount Anak Krakatau continues to erupt, spewing volcanic materials up to 300 meters high.
Sri Mulyani Indrawati said that Indonesia has minimized taking that to meet the needs of the 2023 state budget until the end of the year.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the C Morning Show. We're now well into the second hour of our program, and it's time for us to deliver you on some international news. Mourners gathered on Friday in the West Bank city of Tulkarem to mourn 6 of 8 Palestinians that were killed during an Israeli raid on the city and its refugee camp.
Israeli forces withdrew from Tulkarem refugee camp early Friday, leaving mass destruction in its wake.
According to the Palestinian Health Ministry, 8 Palestinians were killed by Israeli fire in Tulkarem over the past 2 days. Houses and streets were reduced to rubble, and essential utilities such as water and electricity were severely disrupted.
The Israeli army has been raiding various locations across Tulkarem refugee camp for almost 2 days. A post on X said Israeli forces were conducting anti-terror operations in the camp and armed fighters remain at large.
The Palestinian Health Ministry says that Israeli forces have killed 367 Palestinians in the West Bank during that time. Meanwhile, the head of the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees said on Friday that there was widespread hunger and anxiety about the future among Palestinians in the Gaza Strip amid the Israeli offensive.
UNRWA Commissioner General Philippe Lazzarini said that he was struck by the moods and circumstances of the masses of displaced people who have sought safety in the southern part of the territory, with many living in sprawling tent camps.
The UN estimates that over 80% of Gaza's 2.3 million people have been displaced. UNRWA Commissioner General Philippe Lazzarini said that the conditions have steadily worsened with each of his trips. His previous visit came just before Christmas. Lazzarini added UN shelters are not an option because they are overcrowded and suffering from poor sanitary conditions.
Today they seem to be in a kind of automatic survival mode. They look exhausted, they cannot really sleep, it's cold, you are in the street, you have drones, you have bombardment, They are all anxious not only about the day-to-day survival, but what appears also more and more, it's about the future. I think people realize that the end of this war might not look like the end of previous war. They might not retrieve the kind of lives they used to have before, and this is also fueling much more anxiety among the people in the Gaza Strip.
Lazzarini said that people are just skipping their meals once every 2 days, so Palestinian is widespread hunger.
Many people are just skipping their meals once every 2 days. So there is widespread hunger. Now, if you look at what's coming into Gaza, today the assistance is not at scale yet, is not meaningful, and unfortunately it's not an uninterrupted flow the way it should be.
He added that it needs to be reputable and credible enough to basically look into the various claims, compare what's seen in the media coming from either individuals or organizations, attacking or blaming or accusing the agency of collusion with a de facto with Hamas in the Gaza Strip.
I will commission a review by a third party. I still have to identify the third party. It needs to be reputable and credible enough to basically look into the various claims we can see in the media coming from either individuals or organizations attacking or blaming or accusing the agency of collusion with the de facto with the Hamas in the Gaza Strip. Clearly, as an agency, we are indicating that there is none of these agency institutional policies, that we have robust internal mechanism, but I also acknowledge that we are not operating in a no-risk environment.
Israeli officials and their allies have repeatedly alleged that the United Nations Relief and Work Agency, UNRWA, allows anti-Israeli sentiment to be taught in its hundreds of schools. They also allege that some of the agency's tens of thousands of staff members support or collaborate with the Hamas militant group or have written inappropriate social media posts.
Meanwhile, thousands of Yemenis in the Houthi rebel-controlled capital Sana'a demonstrated on Friday in a show of both solidarity with Palestinians in war-stricken Gaza and anger at Israel and America.
Demonstrators were seen holding Palestinian flags, placards of the Houthis' official slogan, as well as pictures of rebel leader Abdel Malik al-Houthi.
Some signs held by protesters were seen saying America, mother of terrorism. Friday's demonstrations come as the Shiite group continue their attacks on commercial shipping in the Red Sea and the Gulf of Aden.
They have frequently targeted vessels with tenuous or no clear links to Israel, disrupting shipping in a key route for global trade. The attacks have now expanded to hitting U.S.-linked ships.
The U.S. and UK have responded to strikes on Houthi targets in Yemen, which began last week.
أبلغ رسالة يقدمها الشعب اليمني اليوم بهذه الحشود المليونية في ساحة ميدان السبعين وفي بقية الساحات في المحافظات الأخرى هي رسالة شعبية مفادها أن من يساند فلسطين هم الشعب اليمني برمته وليسوا فقط جماعة أنصار الله، وأن التصنيف الذي صنفته أمريكا لأنصار الله قبل يومين كجماعة إرهابية لن يفيد ذلك في شيء، ولن يغير من الموقف في شيء، ولن يغير من الوقائع الميدانية في البحر الأحمر أو البحر العربي في شيء.
باب المندب ملكا ليمن الإيمان والحكمة، لن تمر أي سفينة إلى الكيان الإسرائيلي إلا على أجسادنا. نقول للأمريكي هذا ونقول للإسرائيلي لن تمر بعد الآن، لن تحاصر غزة بعد الآن.
And in related news, U.S. National Security Council spokesperson John Kirby confirmed on Thursday that U.S. President Joe Biden's commitment to finding a two-state solution to the Israel-Hamas war was unwavering.
Kirby's comments come as Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu on Thursday rejected calls from the United States to scale back Israel's military offensive in the Gaza Strip or take steps toward the establishment of a Palestinian state after the war. This had drawn an immediate scolding from the White House.
The tense back and forth reflected what has become a wide rift between the two allies over the scope of the war and Israel's plans for the future of the beleaguered territory.
Netanyahu spoke just a day after U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken said that Israel would never have genuine security without a pathway toward Palestinian independence. Earlier this week, the White House also announced that it was the right time for Israel to lower the intensity of its devastating military offensive in Gaza.
In a nationally televised news conference, Netanyahu struck a divine tone, repeatedly saying that Israel would not halt its offensive until it realizes its goals of destroying Gaza's Hamas militant group and bringing home all remaining hostages held by Hamas.
In reaction to Netanyahu rejecting a Palestinian state in a post-war scenario for Gaza?
I would just tell you that nothing's changed about President Biden's desire that a two-state solution is really in the best interest of not only the Israeli people, but of course the Palestinian people. In fact, it's the best interest of the region. And we're not going to stop working towards that goal. This is not a new comment by Prime Minister Netanyahu. We obviously see it differently. We believe that the Palestinians have every right to live in an independent state with peace and security. And the president and his team is going to continue to work on that.
Let's shift our focus to a Russian oil depot was ablaze after a Ukrainian drone struck the site in western Russia on Friday.
4 oil reservoirs with a total capacity of 6,000 cubic meters or 1.6 million gallons were set on fire after the drone reached Klintsy, a city of some 70,000 people located about 60 kilometers from the Ukrainian border, according to the local governor and state news agency TASS.
Air defenses electronically jammed the drone, but it dropped its explosive payload on the facility. The same depot was struck by a Ukrainian drone in May of last year, but the damage was apparently less significant.
The strike was the latest in a recently intensified effort by Ukraine to unnerve Russians and undermine Russian President Vladimir Putin's claim that life in Russia is going on as normal before the country's March 17 presidential election.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has vowed to hit more targets inside Russian border region this year. Russia's air defense are concentrated in occupied regions of Ukraine, leaving more distant targets inside Russia more vulnerable as Ukrainian forces develop longer-range drones.
And we've got an update in regards to the developments of an ongoing story as 2 suspects allegedly involved in the killing of a prosecutor investigating the past week's attack on a TV station in Ecuador were arrested on Thursday. However, 2 more are on the run.
Under the newly imposed state of emergency, suspects are being investigated under terrorism charges, which is how the government has now branded the organized criminal groups.
Cesar Suarez, who was part of the Transnational Organized Crime Investigations Unit and was investigating major drug trafficking and corruption cases, was gunned down on Wednesday afternoon in the port city of Guayaquil. The police seized a rifle, 2 pistols, magazines, and 2 vehicles from the suspect.
In addition, the bullet casings collected at the crime scene correspond to those fired by the seized weapons. Officials are still investigating the case of the attack, which was attributed to the gang also known as the Chone Killers.
Moreover, during national state of emergency, authorities say that 1,975 people have been detained as part of the numerous operations. 158 of these are accused of alleged terrorist acts.
Hasta la fecha tenemos 2 personas detenidas. Tenemos uno que es el conductor del taxi, otro que es el presunto sicario. Este momento se está haciendo el cotejamiento de los indicios balísticos encontrados en la escena para poder tener la certeza de que esas dos armas, tanto el arma larga como el arma corta, fueron utilizados en el asesinato del fiscal.
All right, that does it for our world updates. We do still have more updates, this time out of the region of Southeast Asia, but we first have to take a short break. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia itu bergelombol, menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
Oh, I love this atmosphere. Woo! Heading to Gili Trawangan. And this special episode, I already prepared myself for an adventure on Bee Island, which in the top of the list to visit. And this is the travel note because life is dope.
Bahkan brosurnya aja Pak, saya udah pelan-pelanin jalan. Ditegur, Mas cepetan gitu. Ini bisa baca perilaku kamu sekalian. Kita mau baca tarot nggak? Iya.
Oh iya, Sar.
Sama mana tangan kamu?
Keren banget. Mau, Om.
Awalnya nggak tahu kalau itu kanker tulang. Divonisnya harus amputasi, baru tahu. Gasan, Papa kan kakinya 1, Gasan kan kakinya 2, Gasan jalannya biasa. Papa juga punya kaki robot.
Maaf Kang Dani, Anda menganggap tetap ini sebagai sebuah kebaikan dari Allah?
Jangan sampai disia-siakan kesempatan itu. Saksikan kisah saya, Dr. Gigi Muhammad Nur Ramadhani, di Teman Bicara Maman.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
Handball karena masih baru, tadi kita harus bisa juga mempopulerkan ini kepada masyarakat sampai ke bawah.
We do it from scratch at the time because we don't know ice hockey, how to play, how to develop, how to manage this sport.
You don't have to be good with your foot. You can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Asian flavors is gaining more popularity around the world in the last decade. Personally love this, not just because it is familiar for our palate, but because the airiness, the textures of the youtiao, it's completely different when baguette. So with those appetites and with those pleasure-driven people, Menteng is a very special place for restaurant.
A group of volunteers operating in the south of the city has united to assist displaced children in a refugee camp in Rafah in overcoming the trauma of war. The volunteers come from diverse professional backgrounds and share expertise in working with young people.
Hi everyone, welcome back. You're still with us here on the C Morning Show, reaching the halfway point of our program. We're going to kick off this segment with some of the latest updates from Southeast Asia, beginning with our Southeast Asian headlines. From the World Economic Forum in Davos, the Philippines is planning to introduce the legal framework on artificial intelligence, or AI, based on the Philippines' draft legislation. The country's Speaker of the House of Representatives, Martin Romualdez, announced that the Philippines would present the regulatory framework to the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, where the country leads the region in 2026. The goal of this framework is to provide regulatory support for digitalization, cybersecurity, and generative artificial intelligence. The proposal would be contradictory since the ASEAN states' approach towards AI regulation is currently business-friendly, as it focused on reducing compliance burdens and fostering innovation. It may be difficult to implement such a change in ASEAN, a region that has almost 700 million people and very different regulations on digital and internet usage.
Our next update is from Malaysia, where Communication Minister Fahmi Fazil says that the country will continue to support the rights of all Palestinian citizens as they seek their admission as full members of the United Nations. He highlighted that Palestine's full membership in the UN as a critical step toward respecting their fundamental rights and resolving the region's protracted conflict. He stated in a Facebook post on January 17 that as a full member of the UN, the Palestinian people will have the capacity to be key decision makers in processes that will shape their future. In the name of justice and the well-being of the Palestinian people, let us unite our voices to press them for their rights as full members of the UN to become reality. Furthermore, the post included a sequence of photographs of Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim signing and sending a specially made postcard to United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres.
From Singapore, where Deputy Prime Minister Lawrence Wong has addressed the latest scandal involving a former transport minister, Subramanian Iswaran, Deputy PM Wong recognized the political hit that would be suffered by the People's Action Party. However, he assured the public that they would win back their trust and confidence. Deputy PM Wong told reporters that the People's Action Party, along with the government, will do everything in their power to keep the country free of corruption. The Deputy PM emphasized that standing against corruption is part of the People's Action Party DNA, no matter the political price. He also expressed the party's disappointment that the former Transport Minister Israwan had to leave his position.
And our first update from Southeast Asia comes from Vietnam's Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh, who spoke during the 2024 World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, who emphasized ASEAN economic development at the forum's Center for Region, Trade, and Geopolitics.
In the forum, ASEAN development and friction in economic matters have become among the main agenda of discussion.
Prime Minister Pham Minh Chinh served as a speaker at the Forum Center for Region, Trade, and Geopolitics at the World Economic Forum held on January 17. The Prime Minister highlighted three crucial factors behind ASEAN's current development gains. This includes solidarity in diversity, promoting self-reliance on the bloc and each country, and pursuing inclusive and comprehensive development.
In addressing ASEAN digitalization, the Prime Minister affirmed that the digital economy must be associated with the green economy. He emphasized that a rapid and sustainable growth is essential, but it should not come at the expense of social justice and security. Additionally, the Prime Minister of Thailand, Shreta Thavisin, also participated in the forum discussion.
The Prime Minister expressed his expectations that in the next 5 to 10 years, ASEAN will be the growth center without leaving anyone behind. Let's hear more on what he had to say.
Và phát huy tối đa cái khả năng, cái tiềm năng khác biệt, cơ hội nổi trội, lợi thế cạnh tranh của cả khối và của từng nước. Như vậy là hai cái này nó gắn kết với nhau. Tuy hai mà một, nhưng tuy một mà hai. Thì đấy là cái vai trò, thì tôi có thể bổ sung thêm một vài ý minh họa cái ý của Thủ tướng Thái Lan. Tôi nghĩ là 10 năm nữa hay là 50 năm nữa thì ASEAN vẫn là một cái khối đoàn kết thống nhất trong đa dạng trên tất cả các lĩnh vực, là một tâm điểm của tăng trưởng và một khu vực phát triển nhanh và bền vững và không để ai bỏ lại phía sau.
Moving on to Thailand now, where Prime Minister Shreta Thavisin has targeted an ambitious goal for international tourism.
The Tourism and Sports Ministry also disclosed the country's plan to achieve 3.5 trillion baht in revenue and 40 million foreign tourists in 2024. Thailand's Tourism and Sports Minister Sudawan Wangsupakij Kosol said that reaching the targeted goal requires 2.3 trillion baht from 40 million international tourists and 1.2 trillion baht from approximately 220 million domestic tourists. The Tourism and Sports Ministry also plans to drive spending and longer stays through soft power products, events, festivals, and safety measures.
Additionally, the Thai government will introduce a permanent visa-free program between China and Thailand to boost the market. The ministry also said that Thailand must expand the number of charter flights to connect potential markets that currently do not have scheduled services.
On top of that, the governor of the Tourism Authority of Thailand said that the Prime Minister encouraged the agency to arrange a roadshow in South Korea to help attract more visitors, as South Korea's foreign tourism industry had generated 1.65 million baht.
Let's shift our attention to Malaysia now, where Malaysia's Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riayatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah and Raja Permaisuri Agong Tunku Aziza Amina Maimuna Iskandaria delivered a news segment called Bulletin Diraja on TV3's primetime news bulletin Utama.
The special royal bulletin was pre-recorded in the morning during the royal couple's visit to Media Prima Group's headquarters in Selangor.
Sultan Abdullah Ahmad and Tunku Aziza Aminah presented free news during a 10-minute slot called Bulletin Diraja. The first report featured interviews with members of the public who said they would like to see all Malaysians undefeated, similar to during a football match. The second news item saw their Majesties reporting on one of the issues close to their heart, which was about how patin fish has contributed to Pahang's economy and tourism. Lastly, their Majesties also read a report about their visit to the media headquarters Sri Pentas Bandar Utama while trying to hide their cheeky smiles. Their Majesties comments the session with a strong message of unity, which they said can be achieved through various ways such as food and sports. Following the occasion, their news segment quickly drew hundreds of comments on social media. Some netizens said that they were proud of their Majesties' performances and thanked them for looking after the country during the political crisis in the last few years.
A surge in social media usage in Vietnam has given rise to a booming e-commerce market, prompting numerous locals to study the Chinese live streaming model to boost their businesses to the next level.
With a population of over 98 million and rapidly growing internet connectivity, Vietnam is becoming the next battleground for e-commerce giants in the region.
Meanwhile, emerging founders said that they are carefully reviewing how things are done by their neighbors to the north.
E-commerce is booming in Vietnam thanks to increased internet connectivity and social media usage. Vietnamese online sellers have also been quick to jump on the bandwagon and learn from the best to bring their businesses into the next level. Experts agree that live streaming has been one of the biggest drivers of the local e-commerce scene, especially the creation of TikTok shops which blend entertainment with online shopping.
There was, of course, social commerce or live commerce before. It existed in a, let's say, more informal way. But the way the company came, professionalized, institutionalized social commerce, for me, is significant, right? And we've seen it in Indonesia at a massive scale. We see it in Vietnam now.
Recognizing the market potential, Chinese e-commerce giant JD.com has built 2 smart logistics and warehouse spaces in Vietnam, each sprawling more than 100,000 square meters.
直播电商仅仅1年的时间，订单占比已经达到了65%。我们也希望通过我们在中国积累的供应链经验，应用在越南市场，伴随企业高质量发展。
Even offline, the trend has become apparent as Hanoi's street become dotted with live streamers looking to cash in on the new trend.
Trước khi mà làm TikTok ấy, thì cái doanh số của bọn tôi là ví dụ là một phần đi
Thì sau khi làm TikTok thì bọn tôi có thể tăng cái doanh số đấy lên khoảng 4 đến 5 lần. Vì là bọn tôi có thể quảng cáo được cái sản phẩm đến với rất nhiều người. Thay vì cái kênh truyền thống trước đây thì chúng tôi quảng cáo cái sản phẩm của chúng tôi làm ra đến rất nhiều người. Analysts project that Vietnam will be the fastest growing market for e-commerce in Southeast Asia this year, with total revenue expected to exceed $20 billion. Key opinion leaders, live streamers, and young Vietnamese entrepreneurs are learning fast to satisfy the growing appetite of the country's aspirational middle class.
Wait, can we talk a little bit about this?
Yes, of course.
I'm just showing, like, I can't show you my screen.
Yeah.
But this is a big thing here as well, where e-commerce are now having these live platforms.
Yeah.
And what used to be salespeople at stores, they're now salespeople online.
Yeah.
I told you guys, I have a bit of a guilty pleasure. Sometimes I accidentally open one of these streams, and I'm stuck on there for a few minutes.
You can stop.
I can't stop because a lot of them have this way of a sales way, but they're doing it in a way where they're just kind of talking to you.
It's like kind of like a soft selling.
It's very appealing.
Sometimes they're not soft. Sometimes they're very hard.
True. There are some of the hard sellers. as well.
But still, you feel like you're talking to a friend.
It's
you can ask them directly about the probably the fabrics of the clothes that
and they answer your questions.
Exactly.
You can chat with them. So I know why this works because we've been kind of a little bit addicted to e-commerce platforms, but we're just browsing. Whereas this gives us the experience like we're going to the store and chatting to the people, and I think that's what's appealing about it. That's why it's booming everywhere. Not just
and they must have been exceptional sellers as well, right?
They
Great
do.
salespeople. But I think it also goes to show the importance of community in businesses moving forward. Not only like digital, but actually like human touch is super important.
Very important.
Exactly.
Goes to show.
I love this new trend of shopping. I mean, you know, we basically don't have to go anywhere. We just go through in our phone or devices or whatever. We can choose whatever we want and we can ask them directly, and then we just receive the, you know, the packet at home. I think it's convenient.
I'm going to check out right now.
Oh my God! Yeah, that's the thing.
For
Very
Paul
tricky.
and for Indonesian moms.
Right. Perfect.
Everyone.
There you go.
Yeah, that's right. All right, guys. So that wraps up our Southeast Asia updates. We're gonna go for another break, but when we come back, we'll have our first talk show. So be sure to stay tuned on the C Morning Show.
The beauty and the excitement of being there, indescribable to lose such an iconic, historical, and magnificent.
Let's take a look around, shall we?
Come on in.
We found them.
Where people come and go. A cup of tea, a perfect way to end your day. Come see the beauty, only on See Indonesia.
Bahkan brosurnya aja Pak, saya udah pelan-pelanin jalan, ditegur, Mas cepetan gitu. Dia bisa baca perilaku kamu sekalian, kita mau baca tarot nggak? Iya.
Oh iya, Sir.
Sama mana tangan kamu?
Keren banget, mau Om.
Hey there, buddies! Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak, dia hostnya, kita co-hostnya.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick. Point to Manado on this map. I'm horrible. I told you I'm bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu kan jadi makin gampang gitu nulisnya.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget.
Ini lebih ke klasik modern sih Mas ya, dibandingkan yang regular Z900 nakednya.
All right, guys, let's get into our first update for today.
Meanwhile, a plume of smoke was seen billowing in the distance from Rafah in the Gaza Strip on Saturday.
marking the 11th week of humanitarian crisis in Palestine.
Mount Krakatau continues to erupt, spewing volcanic materials up to 300 meters high.
Sri Mulyani Indrawati said that Indonesia has minimized taking debt to meet the needs of the 2023 state budget until the end of the year.
Berangkat aja dulu, kerjakan apa yang ada di depan kalian. Setidaknya kalian hari ini walaupun tidak mendapatkan uang, tapi kalian mendapatkan kesempatan.
Walaupun di awal-awal itu banyak sekali rintangan dan tantangan.
Kalian berproses aja dulu, jalan aja dulu. Kalau udah waktunya kalian untuk dapetin uang, uang akan datang nyamperin kalian. Hal yang paling sangat utama untuk mengawali bisnis, ridho dan restu orang tua. Itu hal dan modal paling besar dalam mengawali usaha.
Existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia keluar dia itu bergelombol, menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
Oh, I love this atmosphere. Woo! Heading to Gili Trawangan. And this special episode, I already prepared myself for an adventure on the island, which in the top of the list to visit. And this is the travel note because life is dope.
The beauty and the excitement of being there, indescribable to lose such an iconic, historical, and magnificent.
Let's take a look around, shall we?
Come on in. We found them.
Where people come and go. A cup of tea, a perfect way to end your day. Come see the beauty, only on See Indonesia.
A group of volunteers operating in the south of the city has united to assist displaced children in a refugee camp in Rafah in overcoming the trauma of war. The volunteers come from diverse professional backgrounds and share expertise in working with young people.
So Paul, whoa, I see you're changing your shoes.
I'm sorry, give me a minute here.
That is such a cool shoe,
New
though.
footwear to try on.
I know.
And
it looks very familiar.
It
the
is.
shape.
It is.
Yeah, we know it's one of the local brand. Can you tell our audience about it?
I'm a big fan of Compass. Compass is a local shoe brand. It's been around actually for a long time, but it has recently, in the last few years, been booming. This is one of their famous slip-on styles. But this particular design is actually new, and it's something special that they are releasing for the 25th anniversary.
Oh, wow.
So, and this is just one of many designs that will be coming up. And this is Grafis 80, right? It's
like some like 80s vibe.
It is. If you notice, it's got like this kind of retro-ish kind of vibe to it. So it's very cool. It's a slip-on style. Obviously, I don't know, you know that I've been wearing a lot of local brands lately. And obviously, this is one of the great ways to showcase this particular local brand as well.
Yes, and this particular local brand is one of the best in the country, I believe.
Absolutely.
So,
What do you
right?
think? What do you think? Is it,
and it's so cool, and it actually matches your whole outfit.
the pencil matches my orange socks, by the way.
Exactly. Amazing.
Perfectly planned.
I know. Now, little did many realize the pervasive influence of technology and information has sparked a plethora of creativity crafted by the hands of the remarkably versatile. Some forge entirely novel creations, while others skillfully meld existing works in innovative ways. A standout illustration of this phenomenon is a collaboration involving a legend unveiling a masterpiece that stands as a paragon for burgeoning local talent.
Let me just show you the other colorway, by the way.
Oh my God.
And just like today, we are very honored to have joining in our studio Richie Ned Hansel, the chairman of the Indonesian Association of Graphic Designers. Designers, or IAGD, renowned, and also accompanied by Primo Rizky, friend of the program as well, ADGI's Director of PR and Communications. Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for joining us here on the show.
Good morning.
And for those unfamiliar with AGI, formerly known as IPGI, or Indonesian Graphic Designers Associations, it stands as the first professional graphic design organization in Indonesia. Established in 1980, the organization's birth was marked by a significant event, an exhibition titled Graphis 80, which saw the participation of 47 graphic designers. In early 2020, Indonesia was captivated by the new face of locally crafted Compass shoes. And at the age of 25, Compass ventured into a collaboration with AGI. Now, this is very interesting, Paul, and you've mentioned a couple of times that this is a special edition from their 25th anniversary.
Yes.
Can you share us the background of this collaboration?
Yes, the collaborations actually went back far when we met at the Compass store and in Cipete. It's a modular store, and we are discussing what if the biggest local brand for shoes collaborating with an organizations or associations. And I think we have this same vision that we want to be inclusive, and we want to our professions to meet the people of Compass users, and we agree to make this pencils icon maybe to be another like the Warhol bananas graphic icon that can be celebrated by lots of people in Indonesia.
So we know that AGI itself has a significant history, and so does Compass. So how does this, when you guys came into this discussion, what were some of the factors that was important for both parties in order to make this collaboration work?
Okay. I think in AGI, we've always been wanting to advocate the role of graphic designer. It's not limited to just like poster making or logo making, but it can be extended to the extent of like any aspect of the industries. Like,
it's true, because most of the time when you think graphic designers, you're thinking like working at an ad agency or things like that, right?
Yes, true. Okay, so it can be extended to like fashion, it can be extended to even into social engineering, and with this collaboration with Compass, we want to convey the message to the public that the role of graphic designer is also important in other industry, like in the fashion industry. They can be helping the product designer in making shoes. I think that's one of the role of these collaborations. And as for the Compass, I think they, in the past 25 years, they grow with the creative culture as their community and their fan base. And I think this is the way of them in giving back to the community who has grown them in over the past 25 years.
But I mean, and every great company, by the way, has a great leader. Mas Aji from Compass, he's one of the best in the business. Did he have any particular things that he said he wants to be a part of it, or did he kind of let you guys have your own creative freedom?
I think he gave us the freedom.
Nice, very cool. As a creative man himself, I could see why, right?
And in your mind, do you see there are similarities in philosophy or purpose between AGI and Compass?
Yeah, maybe the similarity of the vision of our organizations and AGI's brands is to be inspiring a lot of people in Indonesia. And in this collaboration, in their 25th anniversary, they want to give an inspiration to the younger people to be a creative, to explore any possibility. But in the same time, we can see the legacy that our previous in AGI, they already have these magnificent artworks that they are creating. So creativity is the reason why we do this kind of collaboration.
So let's talk a little bit, let's break down the collaboration itself. For those that aren't familiar, for the 25th anniversary, there will be 25 different releases of footwear. The footwear, for example, like this slip-on is already an existing slip-on. It's a quite famous slip-on that all Compass fans love. but there's a different take on this one. And there's going to be other designs as well, and there's going to be up to 25, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so what is it that is going to, like, what are Compass fans and those that are, that know familiar with the designers from ADGI going to be expecting in the upcoming weeks and months?
The other 24 design, we're going to make an exhibition.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. The exhibition will be online on the website. That is the one that we are going to make. But the other one, we are looking for a venue to create an offline exhibition
event. Okay.
And yeah, we will see those 25 with this graphics 80 in one exhibiation.
Wow. Very cool. There you go.
So how do you choose the 25 artists collaborating into this design?
Actually, they are ADGI's member.
Okay.
We curate their portfolio, of course, and the contributions to the society, the community, and also to the industry, and how they can be, we can look their consistency in doing graphic design. So this 24 design studio, I think they have their quality and their high contribution to the industry.
Now, in terms of impact and contribution, can you share more on the bigger picture of the contribution of the graphic designer? Because maybe a lot of people think that it's just, designing visuals, but it's actually more than that. Can you share with us?
Yeah, I think as I mentioned before that not many people noticing or knowing that the role of graphic design is also, they plays an important role in other aspects of life. I think, through this collaboration, we can show them that we're not just making logos or posters, but they can also designing some products like shoes or even merchandising, other merchandising. I think it's really important to have the public know that, graphic design plays an important role in other aspects.
Does it present unique challenges as opposed to the more conventional work that graphic designers have to do? For example, I mean, to create something visual that you would see on a billboard is a little bit different than creating, like you guys had tote bags and shoes. Did it prevent a specific challenge? Yeah, those by the way are part of the releases as well. So did that present any particular challenges for the graphic designers involved?
Yeah, actually yes. After we met, maybe like those 24 design studio, on the first stage they are doing presentation by Zoom.
Okay.
And then we do this first prototype and we bring the prototype to their studio.
Okay.
And we can see the designer actually cannot expecting the result. Because they're only drawing the 2Ds.
Right, right.
And on that part, when we do the first meeting for the prototype, they learn a new challenge in putting a graphics into a 3D shapes, of course, on shoes. So they can find lots of
different surfaces, right? Like there's more depth. Correct.
Some designer put graphic on the bottom of the soles,
right?
And because we have three type of retrogrades Compass shoes, so there are lots of challenges they have to face on doing the laces, or maybe I don't know, putting the shoes of the brands.
Right, as well as materials. There's different materials that they have to deal with as well. But I'm sure that also gives them room for more creativity.
I know, that is so cool. Such an innovation for the industry. And now, last but not least, you also included the legendary designer, Cahyono Abdi. How has he been, enthusiastic in designing these shoes, and what is he's hoping for the collaboration?
So we contacted the estate of Cahyono Abdi, the late Cahyono Abdi, and the family really welcomed the idea of having the creation of their late father to be transformed into shoes. And this one is actually really iconic, as Keiichi mentioned before, that it can be like the Warhol's banana. And FYI, this pencil icon is actually the poster of the Graphis 80 is collected and being kept at the M Plus Museum in Hong Kong.
Oh,
Art Museum in Hong Kong. It is that iconic.
Wow, so this first release is super iconic.
This one is a must-have, by the way.
It is a must-have. And you just mentioned that some of the sizes are already sold out. So for those of you guys who are eager to have this one, you have to check it out as soon as possible.
Can't have this one in particular.
I
Sorry, guys. Guys, thank you so much, Mas Primo, Mas Richie, for coming by, and congratulate you on this amazing project as well, and also creating this space for young talents in Indonesia in order for them to spread their wings in the Graphic Design Forum. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
All right, we're going to take a short break here, you guys, but look out for more releases coming soon, and stay tuned to Adgi to find out more. And along with that, make sure you stay tuned to our social media accounts as well. You can find us on Instagram, x.com, and YouTube at See Today News. We'll be back with more after this. Stay tuned.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia keluar dia itu bergelombol, menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
Oh, I love this atmosphere. Woo! Heading to Gili Trawangan. And this special episode, I already prepared myself for an adventure on the island, which in the top of the list to visit. And this is the travel note because life is dope.
Awalnya nggak tahu kalau itu kanker tulang. Divonisnya harus amputasi, baru tahu. Gasan, papa kan kakinya 1, Gasan kan kakinya 2, Gasan jalannya biasa. Papa juga punya kaki robot.
Maaf Kang Dani, Anda menganggap tetap ini sebagai sebuah kebaikan dari Allah?
Jangan sampai disia-siakan kesempatan itu. Saksikan kisah saya, Dr. Gigi Muhammad Nur Ramadhani, di Teman Bicara Maman.
The beauty and the excitement of being there, indescribable to lose such an iconic, historical, and magnificent. Let's take a look around, shall we? Come on in. We found them.
Where people come and go. A cup of tea, a perfect way to end your day. Come see the beauty, only on See Indonesia.
Bahkan brosurnya aja Pak, saya udah pelan-pelanin jalan, ditegur, Mas cepetan gitu. Ini bisa baca perilaku kamu sekalian, kita mau baca tarot nggak? Iya.
Oh iya, Sir.
Sama tangan kamu.
Keren banget, mau Om.
Berangkat aja dulu, kerjakan apa yang ada di depan kalian. Setidaknya kalian hari ini walaupun tidak mendapatkan uang, tapi kalian mendapatkan kesempatan.
Walaupun di awal-awal itu banyak sekali rintangan dan tantangan.
Kalian berproses aja dulu, jalan aja dulu. Kalau udah waktunya kalian untuk dapetin uang akan datang nyamperin kalian. Hal yang paling sangat utama untuk mengawali bisnis, ridho dan restu orang tua. Itu hal dan modal paling besar dalam mengawali usaha.
to C Morning Show. Now I'm gonna give you some highlights, especially for what's happening in the home country, Indonesia. The first story, an eatery in Padang, West Sumatra offers an old school dining experience using zinc alloy food utensils, or locally known as kanso. This unique concept has lead visitors to recall their good old days.
In Padang, West Sumatra, a small restaurant serves customer food using zinc alloy food utensils, locally known as kanso. This local eatery also wants visitors to use old-school dining utensils to enjoy the dishes. Among the food served is the climbing perch, commonly known as puyuh fish, and sweat leaf curry or gulai daun kato.
Kita makan di tempat yang sangat-sangat jadul. Namanya Rumah Makan Kanso. Semuanya terdiri dari kanso, tidak ada beling, tidak ada di sini. Hah? Ini kanso semua ini. Dan masakannya masakan tradisional Minang. Kanso ini dari dulu kan pengganti piring yang sekarang dari kaca. Anak-anak pasti pakai kanso karena takut emaknya piring pecah. Nah, jadi kanso ini luar biasa. Yang terkenal itu kanso itu di Periaman.
The eatery has been established for 1.5 years, and it aims to introduce old-school dining concept to younger generations.
Pertama memang mereka ingin kembali lagi kanso itu seperti apa gitu kan. Banyak juga orang yang nggak tahu kan dengan kanso, apalagi anak-anak di era zaman milenial sekarang ini kan mereka kan semua pada fast food semua ya, makanan siap saji dengan ala modernisasi. Mereka kaget, jadi dia penasaran. Pertama orang rasa penasaran lah di sini ya.
Kanso Restaurant's unique innovations shows that business potential can be gained through history. City contributor reporting from Padang, West Sumatra.
Let's move on. I'm going to take you to West Java, to the Pangandaran Regency. It's famous for its beautiful beaches and rivers. In addition, the South Coast town is also famous for its seafood cuisine, including this locally created delicacy called mixed crabbies, which combines a variety of seafood with a variety of delicious sauces.
As a coastal town, Pangandaran has abundant seafood resources. The abundance naturally encourages the locals to serve them in various ways that can add value to their economy. One of them is a local chef named Desi, who mixes shrimp, squid, crab, various clams, and sweet corn in a menu called Mixed Crabbies. In the menu, the chef relies on the freshness of the ingredients and the variety of chili sauce to attract consumers, especially visitors traveling in the city.
Untuk seafood yang namanya mixed crabbies ini adalah hasil olahan laut. Jadi kita langsung dapat dari nelayan sendiri yang mereka kirim langsung ke kita, drop ke kita gitu. Ada berbagai macam rasa, diantaranya ada yang suka pedas bisa saus padang atau asam manis, saus tiram, dan ada satu yang tanpa pedas sama sekali, ada saus tiram. Ada saus mentega.
The presentation of the food is also unique. Mixed crabbies is served on a plastic sheet on the table, designed to create an atmosphere of togetherness with family or friends. In addition to the good taste and attractive presentation, the affordable price is another reason that allures customers.
Ini termasuknya murah, karena beberapa tempat saya pernah coba itu hanya 2 orang di atas harga ini. Yang saya tahu, ini restoran termasuk murah atau skemmat gitu. Yang kalah.
And to enjoy this appetizing mixed crabbies, patrons are charged from 100,000 to 600,000 rupiah, depending on the portion. And for this very unique Pangandaran delicacy, the price is quite worth it because patrons will also be treated to views of this beautiful coastal city. C2 contributor reporting from Pangandaran, West Java.
said, from Indonesia, from Pangandaran, West Java. And I hope you guys get references. Probably you want to spend your time with the family or your loved one. Probably you can visit Pangandaran in West Java. All right, that was it. And we're gonna come back with another talk show. We have a very talented guest after this one.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
Handball karena masih baru, tadi kita harus bisa juga mempopulerkan ini kepada masyarakat sampai ke bawah.
We do it from scratch at the time because we don't know ice hockey, how to play, how to develop, how to manage this sport.
You don't have to be good with your foot. Like, you can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Asian flavors is gaining more popularity around the world in the last decade. Personally love this, not just because it is familiar for our palate, but because the airiness, the textures of the youtiao, it's completely different when baguette. So with those appetites and with those pleasure-driven people, Menteng is a very special place for restaurant.
A group of volunteers operating in the south of the city has united to assist displaced children in a refugee camp in Rafah in overcoming the trauma of war. The volunteers come from diverse professional backgrounds and share expertise in working with young people.
Hey there, buddies! Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak, dia hostnya, kita co-hostnya.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick. Point to Manado on the smash. I'm horrible. I told you I'm bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu kan jadi makin gampang gitu nulisnya.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget.
Ini lebih ke klasik modern sih Mas ya, dibandingkan yang regular Z900 nakednya.
Alright guys, let's get into our first update for today.
Meanwhile, a plume of smoke was seen billowing in the distance from Rafah in the Gaza Strip on Saturday, marking the 11th week of humanitarian crisis in Palestine.
Mount Anak Krakatau continues to erupt, spewing volcanic materials up to 300 meters high.
Sri Mulyani Indrawati said that Indonesia has minimized taking that to meet the needs of the 2023 state budget until the end of the year.
Bahkan brosurnya aja Pak, saya udah pelan-pelanin jalan. Ditegur, Mas cepetan gitu. Ini bisa baca perilaku kamu sekalian. Kita mau baca tarot nggak? Iya.
Oh iya, Sir.
Sama mana tangan kamu?
Keren banget. Mau, Om.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia keluar dia itu bergelombol menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
Oh, I love this atmosphere. Woo! Heading to Gili Trawangan. And this special episode, I already prepared myself for an adventure on the island, which in the top of the list to visit. And this is the travel note because life is dope.
The beauty and the excitement of being there. Indescribable to lose such an iconic, historical, and magnificent.
Let's take a look around, shall we? Come on in.
We found them.
where people come and go.
A cup of tea, a perfect way to end your day. Come see the beauty only on See Indonesia.
Fisik saya mungkin waktu itu memang lemah, tapi bagi saya fisik itu hanya seberapa persen dari kemampuan kita. Yang penting adalah ide. Di anak-anak muda jangan pernah putus asa.
Living Room, a rising duo comprising of Liam Amadeo Riza and his brother Ingmar Anargia Riza marked their entry into the industry with their debut single titled Precious on January 7, 2022, after joining Indonesian label Wonderland Music in the same year.
I like when you call me handsome, I blush and then call you beautiful. You either look away or roll your eyes, either way it's so damn adorable. When your cheek on my shoulder uncomfortable, it's where you're supposed to be.
This debut single served as their cornerstone in the music world and brought them to secure the Best Rap Hip Hop Duo or Group Award at the 25th AMI Awards.
This Jakarta traffic got me in a bad mood. It's lagging, stopping my way to you. Hanging out, what you feeling like, girl? Make it simple, leave them on a miss.
Living Room continued their musical journey with subsequent releases after they dropped their second single titled Stars, followed by the release of their third single, Stupid, and Missed Call in 2023.
You hear this probably say celebration.
Not only that, Living Room reached a significant milestone in their burgeoning career by releasing their highly anticipated debut album, Are You Free This Summer, on December 15, 2023. This album marks their musical trajectory, which is the expression of their music by celebrating the spirit of youth. Now let's delve more into it with Living Room, who will share the creative process behind their works, as well as the inspirations that have fueled their musical journey.
So I got me a new watch, and you been on my mind, so I'm just going off the top. And whatever you want, look at it once, then we cop it out. I wish we could be frozen in time forever like this. Oh, you're riding my arms, anxiety silent. Frozen in time forever like this. Oh, you make me feel enough. You're taking what I give. We could be frozen in time forever like this. Oh, you're riding my arms, anxiety silent. Frozen in time forever like this. Oh, you make me feel enough. You take what I give. You wake up, give me a kiss. I never knew peace like that. Pressure release from my back. I love seeing you like this. You make up just your face. You smile and say good morning. Put my arm across your waist. Hey, let me savor this moment. Take a photo with my eyes. Took 100 already, but it's never enough. I wish we had more time to just be two kids in love. I wish we could be frozen in time forever like this. Oh, you riding my arms, anxiety silent. Oh, frozen in time forever like this. Oh, you make me feel enough. You're taking what I wish we could be frozen in time forever like this. Oh, you riding my arms, anxiety silent. Oh, frozen in time forever like this. Oh, you make me feel enough. You're taking what I give. Someone else on your bed. If someday my melody escapes your head, the photos that I look for will always be of you, so don't ever doubt. Just say my name, I'll always be around. If you hear a shadow burst in your mind, then I will come love you a second time. But till then, I wish we could be frozen in time forever like this. Oh, you're right in my arms, anxiety silent, all frozen in time. Forever like this. Oh, you make me feel enough. You take what I give.
Whoa! Living room, everyone.
Please welcome Ingmar and Liam.
Come on over, guys.
Please. Welcome back.
Welcome back. We've had Liam before on Buddy Talk.
Another program.
You weren't here, unfortunately, but now we have Ingmar joining us.
Welcome, guys.
Thank you so much.
Amazing. Welcome to our living room.
This is our living room.
This is our living room. I'm curious about that. Where is the living room's names came?
So actually, so we make all our music at home, and the reason why we're named Living Room is because our studio is essentially in the living room.
Really?
Oh, not in the bedroom. Most people it's like in the bedroom.
Yeah, most people is in the bedroom, but ours is in the living room.
So like, if this is like the main living room TV, the sofa with the TV in front, our studio is about 3 steps to the left.
Oh,
wow.
I'm sure the rest of the family is thrilled.
Yeah, I wonder about how is
the rest of the family, the neighbors, they're very excited.
How they responded.
Sometimes it'll be like 3 a.m. in the morning.
Oh, no.
And I'll be singing my butt off.
Cool.
And it, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, like they have a private showcase.
Yeah.
but the results speak for themselves.
Exactly.
You guys have a lot of amazing music. And they get a teaser of the music before it comes out, right?
All right.
So speaking of your music, Frozen, that was the song you just performed. Tell us a little bit about it.
Frozen is a song about wanting to be frozen in a certain memory or a certain moment, and wanting to sort of capture that in your head as a photograph or as a video or something, just wanting for it to be stuck in your head. And what I like about that sentence, I wish we could be frozen in time forever like this, it means that, one, you're really enjoying the moment that you're in, but at the same time, you know it doesn't last. That's why if you heard, there was like a switch.
Yeah.
And then so the first part is really happy, and like the lyrics are really sweet, and then the second part is like, I'm really sad that
it's gone past. It's melted. It's melted away.
Yeah.
I was wondering about that.
Like so when I came up with that phrase, I was like, how can we best describe this feeling? I'm like, I think we have to sort of switch it up in the middle.
Yeah, I like that.
That is a unique take in music.
Sounds like bossa novas.
Yeah, she was saying that as well. And it doesn't follow the usual, like, okay, we have to have a chorus here, we have to have the interlude, but you guys completely switched it up.
Yeah.
Very creative take on that song.
Good job, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, before we go any further, how old are you guys right now?
I'm 21.
I'm 17.
Amazing.
Wow.
It was not the first
Only
time.
2 siblings?
It's just us two.
Oh my God, how you guys are working together? I mean, brothers at home,
you know.
fight? I have to.
We've actually, like when we're working with music, we've never fought.
At all?
Ever.
Really?
Yeah, at all.
Okay.
How do you guys have the same references and you guys collaborated as a living room?
I mean, we don't have the same exact references, right? But then
a lot of our music tastes are very similar.
True.
So because of that, we were able to work very well with each other.
Is it like you guys divide your tasks? Like I noticed, like obviously Ingmar is more into like handling the musical part of it, more the lyrics. So is that how the creative process goes as well?
I would say it's funny. Like our work process is quite disconnected, actually. Like,
that's why we don't fight.
Yeah, that's why we don't fight. We don't really talk when we work. He'll send me a beat, he sends me the beat for Frozen, and then he will not hear the song again until I'm completely done.
Oh wow! Oh wow! So basically, you give him a space.
Yeah.
What if you don't like it?
I just say it. I just say it like, I don't like it.
Very amazing.
Very cool. Siblings.
Wow, that is very inspiring for any siblings out there.
Yeah, stop fighting. Just don't talk to each other.
Make music.
Stay disconnected.
Stay disconnected. So basically, the song is part of the latest album. It's called Living Room.
It's called Are You Free This Summer?
Let's talk about that. Are You Free This Summer? Tell us about the album and the message of the album. This is the debut, right?
Our debut.
All right, tell us about that.
So this is our debut album. It's comprised of 8 songs, of the 4 of which are our previous singles.
Okay.
And we have 4 new songs that we prepared.
Including Frozen.
Including Frozen, yes. And essentially, the album talks about love, essentially. There's all of them are love songs, and it talks about all the experiences, all the moments, all the feelings you feel when you are in love. And a little bit of a backstory. Are You Free This Summer is actually the name of the first song we've ever released on SoundCloud.
Oh, wow.
6 years ago?
That was 2018.
2018.
Which isn't actually part of this.
No,
You're
it's
just
not
using
part of
it.
that. I'm just using the title.
We're just using the title. So it's kind of like we're paying homage to that era and just like
how you guys
looking back on how we've grown as
very cool.
artists.
A lot of these love experiences from your own experiences by
all completely mine.
I don't write the music.
You write the lyrics.
All
Makes
me.
sense.
That's why, like, when I hear certain songs, I'm like reminded. Oh, like even when I was just singing this, I was like, oh man. Oh wow.
Triggered.
He's being vulnerable, being open. Good job.
Especially this is the first time I'm bringing it out live.
Oh, this is the first time. Hey, see today exclusive.
And then also, like for the audience, this room is really cold.
It is.
Yeah.
I felt frozen
Yes.
while singing.
Exactly.
So I was like,
Yeah, it's
there was
special.
a lot of things
It's
going
special
on.
to welcome you.
Yeah.
No, just kidding.
Put me in the mood.
So 21 and 17, you got, the reason I asked your age is because you actually started way back when you were, how old exactly, 12?
I was like 10.
10?
I was 10 also.
Okay,
Yeah.
wow.
Or I was like 12 maybe.
Well, okay,
10 and 12, around that year.
Okay, let's rewind a little bit. Your first memory
because
of
I
that.
remember I work, I work as a TV reporter since back then, and then I went to the music concert all the time, like jazz festivals,
Yes.
everything. And I saw your dad. So basically, they are the sons of Riri Riza.
Famous.
Yes, famous director, of course. So I saw Mas Riri all in every concert. I don't know who's coming to the concert.
It was probably me.
Soul Nation, Java. I think it's
I have
you.
a feeling it's me.
He was so little.
So in a stroller?
In a stroller.
Okay.
I remember
So basically
that.
toddlers.
Yeah.
I remember that, but I didn't recognize you, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Because you were very little, and now you have become a musician.
Yeah.
Who is the biggest music inspirations for both of you?
Both of us. I think recently, I think one of the sort of hallmarks we look to is Pharrell Williams.
Okay.
Because we like that he keeps his sort of style in whatever genre he does. Like,
absolutely.
We appreciate his hip hop stuff, but then we also appreciate the work he does with Justin Timberlake.
He produces for so many artists.
So many artists. The work he does with Frank Ocean, but then also the work he does with Jay-Z, with Pusha T.
Right.
So like, well, we want to be sort of a figure like that.
Because
in
he
this
is
industry.
still relevant, right?
And he's still relevant.
Extremely
Exactly. So he's answering your questions. You want to take your daughter to go to the music concert, and he's wondering, is she going to remember? Do you remember when your dad take you to the music concert?
Do you have any core memories
I
of
have
that?
I have this memory. Like I remember, I was like maybe Ingmar probably wasn't born, so I was like 4 years old.
Yeah, I think.
He made me a promise to like not cry during the festival.
Okay.
And he would take me around in the stroller. He bought me like a pack of cookies to like keep me entertained.
Okay.
And then I remember we watched like a really punk rock band. Like they were like, "Wah!" They were like screaming. I didn't get it. But then my dad was like, yeah, this is great.
But you remember
I
pieces
remember
of it,
that.
right?
I remember that. And I remember there was like it was a bit of a bigger act. There was like strings and stuff, like an orchestra. And we were just watching, and I was like, okay, all right.
See, the reason I ask is because you have a dad who is very well known in the movie industry and films, but he was, I would say, played a large part in both of your inspiration and the way you got into music.
Of course.
How supportive and how important is it, like, with the way your parents support you? Even though you aren't actually following the same path, you're both in the creative industry, but you guys went into music instead of movies.
Well, our parents, including our dad, they're both really into music.
Okay.
They both
love music, and they introduced us to a lot of songs, a lot of like old Beatles stuff. A lot of. I think you were really into Linkin Park because of them.
Cool.
And my mom always told us that she has an iPod, and she would play us every single music. She played us dangdut, she plays us jazz, classical. She played us hip hop, and that was when we
when you're in the belly.
That we were in the belly.
It works, you know.
With the philosophy that when we are in the world,
Yeah.
our sort of our ears are open already.
Of course, yeah.
But yeah, they're really supportive. I mean, our dad drove us here this morning.
Very supportive, by the way, yes.
He was the one who woke us up and like, you have to go to you're on TV today.
Cool.
So yeah.
Oh my God.
So kudos, guys. So there you go, guys. If you're ever wondering, like, does that actually work when pregnant women like play music? Because my wife did it too.
Yeah.
It works because they end up loving music and start to grow. Mine's-
Different kind of genre too.
I don't really know because my daughter's only 8 now, but she loves music. She takes
Yeah,
dance.
she loves arts
She does.
too, right?
She loves the arts, and
same too,
the other 2 babies, they're always when I put on music videos, they're captivated either by the music video models, I don't know, or the music because I have a little boy. So I don't know. So
Amazing. Let's go back to the album.
yeah, let's talk a little bit
Yes,
about the album.
the creative process.
most
Challenging song that you guys wrote.
Challenging.
Is there
Like,
any-
we probably have a different answer.
Okay, one for you and one for you.
For me, it was Miss Call, which the music video is playing around.
Oh, right, it was one of these clips, yeah.
Yeah, that was. Oh, speaking of Pharrell, that was a very much like a Neptunes inspired track. But then I had to sort of like relearn writing songs during that process because attacking or like writing over music like that turns out is extremely difficult to do, and there's a very specific way to do it right. And so I had to sort of relearn songwriting again, which was fun, but also extremely challenging because I feel like we make songs pretty easily, right?
Yeah.
Like I remember Precious, the song that won the AMI Award, we did that in like what, 2 weeks.
Oh wow.
Roughly 2 weeks.
Roughly, like if we put all the time we put on the work on that song, it's like 2 weeks. But Miss Call took a year and a half.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
There you go.
Wow, that's the most challenging.
They're definitely
part
the
of
most challenging.
songs. Okay, and what about you?
For me, I think it's Frozen.
Okay.
Because I was the one who produced the song.
Nice.
And you know, in the song, there's the first part of the song,
transition,
hip hop, and then the second part of the song, which is like jazz, kind of bossa nova.
Yeah.
That second part took a really long time for me to figure out.
Okay, because
It was sort of like trying to figure out the transition, how to make it so that it still sounds like sort of familiar, but it's still very different.
So it's still the same song.
Still
I
the
know what
same
you mean.
song,
Yeah,
like it's
right.
different. So it took a while for me to figure out what to do with it, and it ended up being a very good.
Turned out great, by the way.
Turned out great.
Are you guys happy with the album? I mean,
Oh, we're really happy. I mean,
about the work and everything and the results too.
This one is like this album has been 3 years in the making because there is songs from 2020, right?
2020.
So yeah, 3 years. There are songs from 2020, from 2021. Miss Call was finished August last year.
Oh.
And the first song that was finished for this album was Precious, the one that won the AMI, and that was finished November 2020.
Whoa. Oh yeah.
So
almost
you literally took him from when he
Three
turning into
years.
an adult. While it
Exactly.
happened.
Wow. Exactly.
Like,
Wow.
Like for me, I wanted to, you know, as a songwriter of the group, I wanted to make this first album sort of like a diary
Yeah.
of these important years of my life because, you know, these emotions, these experiences, it's not like they might only happen once, you know.
All
so
right.
like if I can immortalize them in some way, and for me it's through song,
Yeah.
and like I can listen back when I'm, you know, 25 or like even older.
Nice.
25 isn't that old. if I
that was a stab at me.
like if I'm even older, let's say I'm a grandpa, and I can listen back and like, oh, I remember the emotions I felt when I wrote it.
Yeah. And
a lot of wisdom in you, though. You sound like you're 40.
Exactly. Oh my God. So many numbers today.
I want to go back to Precious. You brought it up a couple of times. That was the song that really put you guys on the map. You guys came out fresh out the gates as and won an AMI for Best Rap Duo, correct?
Yes.
For that, what was that like? I mean, you guys are fairly new on the scene.
Exactly.
And then suddenly you're gifted this award, which is like recognition as well from your peers and from the industry. What did it mean to you, Ingmar?
Very shocked. I was very shocked. And I was the one to receive the award as well. I was there during the award night, so I was like...
With our mom.
With our mom. So when I got the award, I'm like, oh my God, what the...
Shaking.
Yeah, I was shaking.
Did you prepare like a speech?
No, I didn't prepare a speech.
So that really proves that you didn't really expect to win at all.
Yeah, I believe they're very serious in what they're doing.
You know, we were just happy to like get the invitation, honestly.
Honestly, just the nomination was like,
oh, that's dope.
Oh, cool.
No, I remember when the nominations came out, I was with my friends and we were all screaming in one of my friends' cars because I yelled a word that I can't say on TV.
Okay.
And
I can
then
imagine.
they were like, what? What happened? I was like, I got nominated for an Emmy Award. They're like, what?
And I knew it from him too.
Oh yeah, and then I told the group that I was like, we just got nominated for an Emmy Award.
And I'm like, what?
Crazy.
That's nice.
And any feedback from your, I guess at the time, those other nominees in your, what was that like?
Well, I think
there were some big names.
Are you guys know each other?
The ones in our category, not so much, but like we have a lot of like rapper friends,
Okay.
and a lot of them really, you know, they like, oh, you really deserved it, man. Congratulations.
That's
You know, the Lays, the one I came out here with, he was one of the first people to reach out because I think he was there that night too, right?
Yeah, to give us support.
And I was halfway across the world in the UK,
Okay.
so he texted me. I was like, congratulations, man.
Wow.
And sometimes I think that means just as much, just to get that recognition.
Yeah. Especially on their age.
Yes.
It's very important.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking about Lays, you've collaborated with Lays.
Yes.
He is one of my favorite rappers in Indonesia as well.
Do you have any, you know, like a wish list to collaborate with?
Yes.
Or do you have a favorite collaborator?
Ooh.
Have you?
Good question.
So, I wonder which one we could say. Actually, we are. There's gonna be a certain female singer's album.
Okay.
And we're working on three of the songs on that album, I think. And that's been really exciting. Like we're just this year, we're sort of expanding to working with other people.
Okay.
Just like a couple of weeks ago, I went to a recording session with another female musician, funny enough. But personally, I really want to work with the other artists in our label.
Okay.
So Wonderland Music, we all make sort of different genres of music,
Cool.
but like they're all so talented and
Yeah.
amazing,
Yeah.
and you should all check them out.
Yay!
And
Please come back.
And then invite them to here.
Of course.
I think Pepita was here, if I'm not mistaken. One of our sisters.
Yeah.
But I would say number one on the list is working with them for sure.
Very good. Very good.
Very supportive.
By the way, he's like already had a productive year, and it's only the 20th of January.
Exactly.
Right now, by the way.
We just started.
Less than 3 weeks into the year.
We just started. So, speaking about New Year 2024, what's gonna be for a living room?
Well, of course, we're gonna still be working on new music.
Yeah.
We're gonna be releasing new stuff, and I mean, like,
we just released an album.
Yeah, we're
gonna take a break for a little bit.
Yeah. What about showcasing? You guys need more showcasing.
We're gonna bring the album to as many places as we can.
Yeah.
Enjoy the release
Of
of it.
course,
Right?
yeah.
Enjoy it. Let it breathe.
Oh my God. I mean, this is the first time we were given a deadline to sort of finish something.
Sure.
I felt like I was gonna go crazy. Like, so I'm just enjoying the fact that the album is out.
You have like a gig, like
we are playing on the 24th at Krapela in Block M.
Okay.
We are playing with Bass Boy and
Oh, nice.
I'm a big fan of him as well.
Yeah.
They're both amazing.
Yeah.
So that's next, and then we're having an album release party soon.
Cool.
The details of that will be on our social media.
Just follow them to get lots of updates from the living room, of course.
Okay, so
better than music because they're so fun.
Yes.
I can imagine to see them on stage, to playing with the song,
Yes.
and to see them how they involve with the audience.
Absolutely. Living room 131.
131.
What do the numbers mean?
So, backstory, like it's actually, we took these numbers from a Korean composer. His name is B.I.
B.I., okay.
1-3 is B.
Oh, okay.
Like, he's literally the reason we started making music.
Essentially.
I told you, right? They sound like,
Korean.
Exactly.
She's getting a bit of a Korean vibe, like a kid. Yeah, there you go.
There you
go. Put it all together. Hey,
thank you
so much.
We have one more performance
Of
coming.
course.
You're talking about performances?
Yes, I want
And
to see
he was
more.
talking about taking a breather and slowing down.
8 songs. 8 songs. Okay?
I like that transition.
Yes, that happens to be the name of this single that they're going to perform. So guys, thank you so much for joining us. We'll now invite you back to your spot to get ready for our next performance. So once again, you guys can find out when and where Living Room will be performing by following their social media platform. Once again, it's at Living Room 131. I'm looking forward to I might take my kids.
B.I.
I would be like their dad and bring my kids to their performance
showcase.
at Block M.
All
Wouldn't that be
right.
ironic? Anyway.
All right. Once again, please welcome Living Room.
proud of the way I was. I was loud, but sometimes you needed silence. And I thought that I could just show passion. I needed time, I won't deny it. But then the days and days got slower. I was hoping for a four-leaf clover. All the things I could have told you, I couldn't hold them anymore. So I said hi, and it was like we never ever even said goodbye. But we need time, that much I know, so we can go slow. Now of course I wanna tell everyone I know, tell the world I'm yours like I did before. Still need time to know where to go, but you should know that this heart's still yours. We can go slow, we can go slow, anytime, anywhere you wanna go. We can go slow, we can go slow, anywhere you wanna be, I'm there with you. But then the days and days got slower. I was hoping for a four-leaf clover. All the things I could have told you, I couldn't hold them anymore. So I said hi, and it was like we never ever even said goodbye. But we need time, that much I know, so we can go slow. And now of course I wanna tell everyone I know, tell the world I'm yours like I did before. Still need time to know where to go, but you should know that this heart's still yours. We can go slow, we can go slow, anytime, anywhere you wanna go. We can go slow, we can go slow, anywhere you wanna be, I'm there with you. We can go slow. Ooh. We can go slow. Now of course I wanna tell everyone I know, tell them I'm yours like I did before. Tell them like I did before. Tell them where to go, but you should know that this heart's still yours. We can go slow, we can go slow, anytime, anywhere you wanna go. We can go slow, we can go slow, anywhere you wanna be, I'm with you, yeah.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, lebih panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia itu bergelombol menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
Oh, I love this atmosphere. Woo! Heading to Gili Trawangan. And this special episode, I already prepared myself for an adventure on the island, which in the top of the list to visit. And this is the travel note because life is dope.
The beauty and the excitement of being there, indescribable to lose such an iconic, historical, and magnificent.
Let's take a look around, shall we?
Come on in. We found them.
Where people come and go.
A cup of tea, a perfect way to end your day. Come see the beauty, only on See Indonesia.
Welcome back to Spotlight, ladies and gentlemen, where we bring you guys some of the sports that you guys can go play here in Indonesia.
Handball karena masih baru, tadi kita harus bisa juga mempopulerkan ini kepada masyarakat sampai ke bawah.
We do it from scratch at the time because we don't know ice hockey, how to play, how to develop, how to manage this sport.
You don't have to be good with your foot. You can just dribble the ball and just throw it to the full ball.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Asian flavors is gaining more popularity around the world in the last decade. Personally love this, not just because it is familiar for our palate, but because the airiness, the textures of the youtiao, it's completely different than baguette. So with those appetite and with those pleasure-driven people, Menteng is a very special place for restaurant.
A group of volunteers operating in the south of the city has united to assist displaced children in a refugee camp in Rafah in overcoming the trauma of war. The volunteers come from diverse professional backgrounds and share expertise in working with young people.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the C Morning Show. You're still with us, and now we're going to give you some updates regarding world news. African leaders on Friday criticized Israel for its military campaign in Gaza and called for the end to the fighting that continues to take a toll on mostly civilian Palestinians at the Non-Aligned Movement Summit in Uganda.
Ugandan President and incoming NAM Chairman Yoweri Kaguta Museveni described the war in Gaza as immoral and unacceptable. He also stressed that the strength of the non-aligned movement should be used to exercise considerable influence, particularly at the UN, for the effective transformative process for a better common future. The movement should also clearly define the priorities that favor developing countries by maintaining unity, solidarity, and collective coordination among member states in line with the Bandung Principles. Meanwhile, Musa Faki Mahamat, Chairman of African Union Commission, underlines the importance of preserving international peace, security, and development, as well as justice in the international economic system.
Much has been achieved, but we continue to face many challenges, all in the new. Current challenges facing NAM include the necessity of protecting the principles of international law, eliminating weapons of mass destruction, combating terrorism, defending human rights, working towards making the United Nations more effective in meeting the needs of all its member states in order to preserve international peace, security, and development, as well as justice in the international economic system.
Dennis Francis, President of United Nations General Assembly, addressed in his opening speech in front of the 120 members convening throughout this week that despite the UN General Assembly and the Security Council's resolutions, a ceasefire remained elusive in the matter of Israeli aggression in Palestine. He is also concerned and indeed dismayed about the ongoing calamity in the Gaza Strip and called upon this movement to exert its influence in bringing a halt to the carnage that we are all helplessly witnessing.
Our world is beset with profound, multifaceted challenges which demand creativity and consensus building to fashion effective solutions. Unhappily, it is precisely in the opposite direction that we are headed. Widening inequalities are breeding fresh grievances, while mistrust and geopolitical competition are hampering efforts to realize our aspirations of achieving sustainable development by 2030.
The non-aligned movement, formed during the collapse of the colonial systems and at the height of the Cold War, has played a key part in decolonization processes, with the Asian African Conference in Bandung in 1955 as the initial process for the birth of the non-aligned movement, or NAM. The conference agreed on the 10 principles of Bandung, intended as the basic principles for the relations and cooperation among nations. Since the convening of the Bandung Conference, the establishment process of NAM came closer to reality. Several key figures played decisive roles in the creation of NAM. Egyptian President Gamal Abdel Nasser, Ghanaian President Kwame Nkrumah, Indian Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru, Indonesian President Sukarno, and Yugoslav President Josip Broz Tito. These 5 statesmen were later known as the founders of NAM.
And in other news, campaign materials irresponsibly set up and scattered have become a major concern among the public. Now, urban development observers say that such political attributes must be addressed so as not to endanger the public or cause unrest. All this comes in the wake of certain promotional materials in Cimanggis falling on motorists that were eventually brought to the hospital.
Political attributes promoting candidates that are recklessly set up are now scattered throughout Jakarta. Posters, banners, and billboards all cover sidewalks and other public facilities in the capital. Many are even nailed on trees. Urban development observer from the Trisakti University, Nirwono Yoga, said that these political attributes must be addressed so as to not endanger the public or cause unrest.
Tentu kita bisa maklumi mengapa Bawaslu agak dalam tanda petik ragu-ragu untuk menertibkan ya. Oleh karena itu perlu dukungan dari pemerintah daerah, dalam hal ini kepala daerah, dan juga tentunya pihak berwajib dalam hal ini kepolisian, dan juga aparat TNI jika dimungkinkan bersama dengan parpol untuk memperkuat, paling tidak mendukung atau membantu Bawaslu untuk bersama-sama menertibkan seluruh APK-APK yang dalam tanda petik tadi ada 2. 1, membahayakan keselamatan umum terutama pengendara lalu lintas. Yang kedua adalah yang tidak sesuai dengan aturan ataupun tempat yang telah disepakati. Nah, ini
A number of political attributes set up in a park along Jalan Ampera Raya in Pasar Minggu, South Jakarta, was reported to have collapsed on Friday afternoon. The incident was caused by strong winds that accompanied rain pouring over the capital since Thursday evening. The park's foundation was also said to have almost subsided from falling to bear the weight of the many promotional materials assembled. Several political parties were told by the South Jakarta Election Supervisory Agency to approach the location and remove promotional materials that may endanger the public. South Jakarta Parks and Recreation officials were also asked to improve damaged foundations. Yet, even though all attributes are considered to have violated regulations set by the General Election Commission, the supervisory agency can only recommend and not instruct their removal. The city of Depok, together with local authorities, also did their bit to regulate reckless promotional materials on Friday afternoon. This was done along Jalan Margonda Raya until Jalan Juanda. Authorities were forced to dismantle large-scale attributes which were said able to endanger motorists.
Perhatian kita juga kepada keselamatan pengguna jalan. Makanya peserta pemilu sekali lagi untuk menertibkan APK yang sekiranya mengganggu keselamatan pengguna jalan. Kami melakukan penyusuran. Kegiatan hari ini adalah melakukan penyusuran dan pendataan. Sekiranya ada APK-APK yang sangat mengganggu keselamatan jalan akan kami turunkan.
Previously, certain promotional materials along Jalan Raya Bogor Cimanggis collapsed and fallen on motorists. They were eventually brought to the hospital for injuries. Situ de Contributor reporting from Jakarta and West Java.
All right, that does it for our update for this hour. We are going for a quick break now, but Paul will return with a recap from the world of sports. Keep it right here on the C Morning Show, only on C Today.
Fisik saya mungkin waktu itu memang lemah, tapi bagi saya fisik itu hanya seberapa persen dari kemampuan kita. Yang penting adalah ide. Di anak-anak muda jangan pernah putus asa.
The beauty and the excitement of being there.
Indescribable to lose such an iconic, historical, and magnificent.
Let's take a look around, shall we? Come on in.
We found them.
Where people come and go.
A cup of tea, a perfect way to end your day. beauty, only on See Indonesia.
Hey there, buddies! Welcome back to another episode of Buddy Talk.
Enggak, dia hostnya, kita co-host.
It's better to be overdressed than underdressed. That's actually a good hack, because I used to live in Canada. That was our trick. Point to Manado on the Spanish. I'm horrible. I told you I'm bad.
Dikira dengan banyaknya informasi itu kan jadi makin gampang gitu nulisnya.
Iya.
Tapi ternyata susah banget.
Ini lebih ke klasik modern sih Mas ya, dibandingkan yang regular Z900 nakednya.
All right, guys, let's get into our first update for today.
Meanwhile, a plume of smoke was seen billowing in the distance from Rafah in the Gaza Strip on Saturday, marking the 11th week of humanitarian crisis in Palestine.
Mount Anak Krakatau continues to erupt, spewing volcanic materials up to 300 meters high.
Sri Mulyani Indrawati said that Indonesia has minimized taking that to meet the needs of the 2023 state budget until the end of the year.
Ke Binjai mau migrasi.
Cakep.
Anjay, aku deportasi.
Ya, aku cuma mau bilang hari ini kamu tuh cantik loh.
Aduh ya Allah.
Oke lah kalau penampilan dia nggak sebaik itu, nggak sebagus itu, nggak seganteng itu, tapi itu hatinya dia sebaik itu dan tidak ada orang yang pernah gue temuin hatinya sebaik Mas.
Pemain.
Hi everyone, welcome back to the C Morning Show for a quick sports recap. We're going to begin with the AFC Asian Cup in Qatar, where Indonesia are back in the hunt for a spot in the knockout stage after a 1-0 Group D victory against Vietnam on Saturday in Doha. Asnawi Mangkualam converted a penalty just before halftime for the lone goal, while Hernando Ari Sutaryadi denied Vietnam with several key saves. Vietnam finished the match with 10 players after Nguyen Tan Binh was sent off for his second yellow card in the first minute of added time. This win now lifts Indonesia to third place in Group D, level on points with Japan ahead of their final group clash with the Samurai Blue on Wednesday. Meanwhile, Ayman Hussein scored twice as Iraq stunned Japan 2-1 to book its spot in the knockout stage of the AFC Asian Cup on Friday in Doha. Hussein scored his brace via a couple of headers in the first half before Wataru Endo cut the deficit in the second half of stoppage time. Iraq are now through to the knockout stage regardless of the outcome of their final Group D match against Vietnam. Japan was denied an opportunity 10 minutes into the second half when Iraq's Rebin Garib took down Takuma Asano with a challenge in the 6-yard box. The following VAR penalty review by referee Khaled Al-Turais concluded that no penalty would be awarded. This loss surely brought back painful memories of the agony of Doha in 1994 when Iraq scored a heartbreaking 91st minute equalizer to snatch a 2-2 tie with Japan in a deciding World Cup qualifier in the Qatari capital. This result also denied Japan a spot at the 1994 World Cup in the United States and forced the Samurai Blue to wait another 4 years to qualify for its first finals in France. One final break to take here on the program, but stick around. We have entertainment news for you coming up next.
Their existence is now being critically endangered.
Dia memiliki ekor yang sangat panjang, jauh lebih panjang daripada badannya sendiri.
Tekniknya dia itu bergelombol, menggunakan punggung temannya untuk naik.
Sebenarnya konservasi burung hantu di sini latar belakangnya jelas asas manfaat. Jadi kita pengen melestarikan burung, melestarikan satwa, tapi juga otomatis dampaknya ke masyarakat yang khususnya sekarang kalau di sini kan petani.
Oh, I love this atmosphere. Woo! Heading to Gili Trawangan. And this special episode, I already prepared myself for an adventure on the island, which in the top of the list to visit. And this is the travel note because life is dope.
To the C Morning Show, and here we are in our last segment for today. This is Entertainment Updates. All right, the first story is from the opening night of the Sundance Film Festival. Some attendees gather for a fundraising gala which honor Christopher Nolan and Kristen Stewart.
Yes, and Jesse Eisenberg gave the award to Stewart, who he has worked with on 3 films.
Stewart, who received the Visionary Award, has been coming to Sundance for the past 20 years, and this year has 2 films debuting. Rose Glass's crime thriller Love Lives Bleeding, which is heading to theaters in March, and Love Me with Stephen Yeun, in which a buoy and a satellite fall in love.
Meanwhile, Nolan won a screenwriting award for Memento after its screened at Sundance in 2001. Both that film and Following, which played Up the Hill at Slamdance, were independently financed before he and his wife and producer Emma Thomas went on to have a great success with studio films.
The 2024 Sundance Film Festival takes place in Park City in Utah from January 18 to 28.
Not just people make you have a craft, but then this world of distribution.
All right, we're fast running out of time here on the program, so we've got to wrap things up. That does it for this Saturday morning episode of the C Morning Show on C Today. Make sure once again to follow us on our social media platforms. You can find us on either Instagram, x.com, or YouTube at C Today News.
And CJ can now be enjoyed in Australia on Foxtel's OTT platform, Flash app, or in Macau cable TV channel 84. Or if you are in the Philippines, you can also watch the Converge version channel 58 and Singtel Singapore channel 15.
And for Telkomsel users, you can also watch See Today on the Maxstream app. Don't forget to also tune in again tomorrow, same time, same channel. And be sure to also catch our afternoon show every day at 5 p.m. I'm Rashmi.
My name is Shafira.
I'm Paul Pilelli. Have a great weekend, everyone.
See you in Indonesia. See the world. See you today. Bye.
Hi, I'm Chef Rahan. I'm here in my private corner and welcome to
satisfactory, cook healthy, cook happy. For the falafel, we have some ingredients in here. We have some flour, cumin, garlic and onion, and then chili flake, olive oil, salt, breadcrumbs, chickpeas, the most important things, chickpeas, and then black pepper, tahini sauce, and lemon, okay? First things to do, we're gonna blend all ingredients in here. First ingredients we're gonna put is the chickpeas. Basically, the food that I'm cooked today is very, very healthy. You can cook at home for family gathering or some friends, etc. And then we're gonna put some flowers, little bit of salt, black pepper, and the tahini sauce. Okay. And then the last one is breadcrumbs. Basically, for the falafel, we're gonna make like rounded, and then so we're gonna need some breadcrumbs for easier to round it. And then we're gonna blend it all, the ingredients. We're gonna put some little bit of and then we blend it all. If the ingredients is too dry, we just gonna make it, added some olive oil.